lies in her seamlessly integrating analytical acumen with industry expertise, enabling her to deliver unrivaled value to clients and stakeholders. What really sets QS Jamila to apart is her unwavering commitment to excellence. Her advocacy for gender equality in the construction industry, coupled with a creative approach and an unmatched ability to maximize available resources. These qualities have solidified her reputation as a trailblazer and a true visionary within the field of quantity surveying and the built environment. Ladies and gentlemen, today I give the floor over to the moderator of today's session. QS Jamila, you have the floor, please. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Uzo. I almost didn't recognize myself when you were introducing me. But wow, it's exciting to be here today. Good morning, everyone. We're very excited to have you on day 2 of this very, very wonderful session put together by the NIQS Foundation. Welcome, everyone. I would say let's give a few minutes to people to join, but we're a stickler to rules, and we really, really would encourage that people come early and be on time, because time is money and time is precious. But can we give a few minutes for more people to join the call? In the meantime, we'll be having a short recap of yesterday's session. If you were not here yesterday, I don't want to make you feel so bad, but you missed a lot. But it's fine. I mean, we're here to give you a recap. We would give you just a little bit of what you missed, and I'm certain that hopefully the magnanimity of the NIQS Foundation, will we be getting the slides? Because some people were asking for the slides yesterday. That will be discussed much later. But yes, yesterday we had a very fantastic session put together by one of our very own QS CJ, who in his first paper, he spoke to us about open innovation. QS CJ, as we all know, is a very renowned speaker. He is a very, very great intellect when it comes to QSing and building informations modeling. So he was able to give us a very, excuse me. So QSCJ was able to speak to us about the different innovations in quantity surveying, and he delved apologies, please. I need to grab my. Okay, so we'll hold on the recap for today and do acknowledge some very important persons in our midst. Please join me in welcoming to our session today the DG of the NIQS Foundation, QS Dr. Celestina Eke MNI. She has been very, very fantastic in running the foundation and has done excellently well in all her push and drive into making the foundation what it is today in conjunction with the Board of Trustees. So please, we don't have audio applause, do we, on Zoom? But
unfortunately, we don't.
Yes.
My
so
DG,
please join me in welcoming
good morning,
the Director General of the NIQS Foundation.
Good morning. I'm looking forward to today's edition. It's going to be exciting. Thank you, Jamila. You're starting on a good note. So let's hit the ground running. We are sticklers of time. We're not going to wait. So as people join, we'll move on. So please don't wait, just continue. Thank you everybody for being on board. Good morning.
Good morning. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ma. Everyone that knows you knows that you're very prompt and you stick to time. And I love that you're translating this into everything that you do. So slowly but surely, I'm definitely sure that people would jump on the good side because being on time has a lot of advantages. So yes, moving on to the slides, the recap for yesterday, we had QSCJ, one of our very own, speak to us about open innovation in quantity surveying and gave us from a quantity surveyor's approach where there was a brief introduction to open innovations, comparison of open innovations with traditional methods. We're not new to quantity surveying, so there are different new areas that quantity surveyors are venturing into, like the robotics. We're talking about different fields. And so QSCJ took us to another world and really dive deep into open innovations and spoke to us about the different areas that we can venture in. Spoke about the historical context, different traditional reliance on internal resources, gave us a brief description on the difference between open innovation and traditional methods, the benefits of open innovation, spoke to us about the building information modeling and the advancements in that area. Building information modeling has been here for a while now, and it has definitely come to stay. A lot of countries have adopted this, and we're also pushing that narrative in Nigeria. Quite a number of companies and organizations have adopted this, and a lot more are jumping on board. Talks about the concepts of smart buildings, digital twin technology, emerging roles for quantity surveyors, and as a conclusion, I would just read in 2 sentences what the conclusion was about to give an insight of what we talked about yesterday. As open innovation reshapes the built environment, quantity surveyors step into multifaceted roles, blending technical expertise with creativity, data-driven insights, and sustainable consciousness. They drive positive change and shape a resilient future. This model, which was on open innovation, sets the foundation for understanding how open innovation can transform quantity surveying practices by leveraging collaborative efforts and advanced technologies. This session was successfully and very beautifully moderated by QS Choma of Bayes University. It was a very eye-opening session. We moved on to the second paper, which was again delivered by QSCJ. We talked about problem solving. Now, of course, we all know that as professionals, you would think problem solving is just, think about a problem and solve it, but there are very tactical ways to go about this to get desired results. So QSCJ again took us to the different, he gave us a brief explanation of what problem solving is, but from the angle of quantity surveying again. Talked to us about problem formulations, critical impact on project success, exploration of techniques to overcome barriers. He defined problem solving, talked to us about the cycle process of planning, executing, and revising with relation to problem solving. Spoke to us about the barriers to problem solving and how we can overcome that. Talked to us about problem composing and decomposing. We really went deep, even with case studies that were discussed and carefully dissected. So this was a very insightful session and opened us up to a new dimension of problem solving, especially with regards to the quantity surveying profession. And there were questions and answers. It was a very beautiful session, and we really had fun with it. Questions were asked, ideas were discussed, and we all went home with more knowledge, more insights, and a new awakening into what the quantity surveying profession is all about and the innovative ideas and innovative sections that we're venturing into. So that was a quick recap of day 1. But today, day 2, the NIQS Foundation has promised us 3 days of excellence, 3 days of knowledge, 3 days of beautiful insights. And you're welcome again to day 2. So day 2 today, we will be talking about, we have today to discuss with us one of our own, QS Aguguesi, who would be talking to us much shortly after the introduction by QS Osaratin Okoro, FNI QS, who is here with us. Please join me in recognizing QS Osaratin Okoro as he comes forward in a few minutes to give us his opening remark. But before then, I would like to do a short recap, a short summary, because if we want to stay here and give his bio, we'll probably be speaking here till hours on end. But QS Osaratin has been a very resourceful person in the NIQS and also in the NIQS Foundation. He's currently the Secretary Board of Trustees of the NIQS Foundation. He's a seasoned quantity surveyor and project manager, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors and an Institute of Management Consultants in Nigeria. He holds a higher national diploma in quantity surveying and a master's in science in project management. His 35 plus years of career spans across consulting and constructions for giants across the country. He has served as the NIQS FCT chapter chairman and the national treasurer. He's currently the managing partner at Jehosa Cost Associates. He's a member of the association. He's a member of the Society of Construction Industry Arbitrators. Beyond his professional accolades, QS Osaratin Okoro is a dedicated pastoral worker at the Family Worship Center, Abuja. Please join me in welcoming QS Osaratin Okoro as he takes up the floor and gives us his opening remark. Thank you.
Thank you, QS Jemide. I appreciate your contribution to the growth of the NIQS Foundation. You've always been there from day one, assisting us. Thank you so much. Good morning, all participants. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, sir, you're audible enough. We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good morning. Yes, participants, as we have embarked on this groundbreaking journey into open innovation, a quantity surveying perspective, I'm filled with an overwhelming sense of pride and anticipation. This is not just another training program. It is the dawn of a new era in our cherished profession. I hope you didn't miss yesterday's training. It was so wonderful. However, you, the participants gathered here virtually, represent the beating hearts of quantity surveying in Nigeria. Your presence is a testament to your commitment to growth, your hunger for knowledge, and your vision for a transformative future. Today, we stand at the intersection of tradition and innovation, poised to redefine the boundaries of our practice. The concept of open innovation challenges us to think beyond our conventional roles. It invites us to become not just cost managers, but visionaries. Not just number crushers, but collaborative problem solvers. In a world grappling with complex challenges, from sustainable development to technological disruption, our profession has never been more crucial. As we dive into the models crafted by our distinguished trainers, I urge you to approach each session with an open mind and an adventurous spirit. Question assumptions, challenge the status quo, dare to imagine a quantity surveying practice that transcends traditional boundaries. Remember, innovation is not about discarding our core values, but about enhancing them with a new perspectives. It is about leveraging technology, embracing collaboration, and finding novel solutions to age-long problems. Each concept you learn, each idea you explore has the potential to spark a revolution in your practice and by extension in our industry. To our young professionals, you are not just the future of quantity surveying, you are its present. Your fresh perspectives and digital conception are invaluable assets in this age of open innovation. Don't be afraid to voice your ideas, no matter how unconventional they may seem. To our seasoned practitioners, your wealth of experience is the fertile soil in which innovation will take root. Your guidance and wisdom will be crucial in bridging the gap between the traditional practices and emerging methodologies. As we progress through this program, I challenge each of you to think beyond personal gain. Consider the principles of open innovation can be applied to uplift our communities, to create more sustainable built environments, and to position Nigeria quality surveyors as global leaders in our field. The generous support of the Rebecca Fund, United Kingdom, in making this program possible is not just a gift, it is a call to action. It is a belief in our potential to drive meaningful change in the construction industry and beyond. As you engage the content, network with your peers, and explore new ideas, remember that you are part of something bigger than yourself. You are the pioneers of a movement that will reshape quantity surveying for generations to come. Let the fire of innovation burn bright within you. Let your curiosity be insatiable, your creativity boundless, and your commitment unwavering. For in your hands lies not the future of our profession, but the power to reshape a better, more efficient, and more sustainable built world. Go forth with courage, learn with passion, and innovate with purpose. The future of quantity surveying is not something we await. It is something we create, starting here and now. May this program be a transformative experience for each of you, and may the principles of open innovations guide us towards new horizons of excellence in quantity surveying. Thank you for participating in this program, and I wish you a better learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, QS Asare, for those very, very strong words of affirmation and that beautiful introduction. We really appreciate your presence and your support on this program. In the spirit of introduction, I would like to also introduce some of my panelists for today. We have QS Onyile Adebowale, who is on the call. Thank you very much for joining us. Also to my co-moderators, QS Choma Precious, who did an amazing work yesterday. She's here with us again today. Thank you, QS Choma. And also QS Juliet, QS Asobu Juliet, Obiageli Juliet. Thank you all for joining. I would like to kindly ask that we all put on our videos, put on our cameras for us to take a quick screenshot to document the attendance for the event before we proceed. Oh, just before, right on time, we have yes, right on time, we have a very special guest in our midst joining us. Please join me in welcoming QS Ajenle Koko Joseph, who has just joined us on the call. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. He is a very, very important member of the Board of Trustees. Thank you, QS Ajenle Koko, for joining. He is the chairman of the Board of Trustees for the NIQS Foundation. We're really, really grateful to have you on board with us. So I'll kindly ask that we please put on our cameras for a few minutes or a few seconds, more like, so that we can take a screenshot of attendance and then we continue. Thank you. This will only take a few seconds and then we can begin the program officially. Mr. Uzo, tell us when you're ready to take the. Oh, we can't hear you.
Kindly turn on your cameras in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn on your cameras, please. We're taking a screenshot.
Please
We've
open
only
up
got
mine.
3
I can't.
people.
And
I can't
surveyors of the built environment. You all
open up
look
mine.
wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Uzo. Fantastic. So yes, day 2. Are we ready? It's 9:22 a.m. I love that we're very prompt. Thank you to the DG for carrying us on that lesson of life. So yes, we're here for day 2. And we have our speaker ready. But before we even move to what we have for today, let's quickly talk about our sponsors or our partners for today. They have been amazing in supporting the NIQS Foundation in putting this together. The Audrey Baker Foundation, the Audrey Baker Fund, apologies. So before I do that, as we all know, the NIQS Foundation is an independent organization formed by the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors with our focus on researching and proposing actionable solutions to critical socio-environmental challenges encompassing climate action, gender parity, social housing, infrastructure gaps, sustainable energy, economic prosperity, youth empowerment, and more within the ambit of sustainable development goals. Our mission, the NIQS Foundation, is to raise the global brand of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors and to make the world a better place for all using the built environment as a platform. The vision of the NIQS Foundation is to impact innovative solutions on issues relating to the built environment, climate change, sustainability, social housing, life on land and below water, affordable and clean energy, gender equality, education, decent work and economic growth, youth empowerment, and job creation through skills and acquisitions. And I must say that the NIQS Foundation has been doing an amazing work in all these regards, and we really appreciate the joint effort on that. Our target at NIQS Foundation is to support local causes around the world, supporting humanity, achieving sustainable development goals. NIQS Foundation has put this together in partnership with the Audrey Baker Fund with the title Open Innovation, a Quantity Surveying Perspective. The Audrey Baker Fund is a proud sponsor of this event. They deal in the charity for surveying and land economy. The Audrey Baker Fund was established in 1972 and is dedicated to enhancing sustainable survey and land management skills in the disciplines of land surveying, quantity surveying, and land economy in developing countries through professional education and capacity building for the lasting benefits of the local communities. A quick overview of the Audrey Baker Fund. Whether you're an experienced quantity surveyor or just starting out, this is a chance to gain a cutting-edge insight and practical tool from industry leaders. You may ask what is in store for you on this program. The Baker Fund says that you would gain expert insights on integrating open innovations into QS practices. There would also be very interesting interactive sessions from top industry innovators, and we would have practical approaches on how we can elevate the quantity surveying career. Open innovation offers quantity surveying a pathway to great collaboration, technological advancements, and client-focused service delivery. By embracing this approach, QS professionals can enhance their role in the construction industry and contribute to the creation of innovative, cost-effective, and sustainable built environments. So we would like to say thank you very much to the Audrey Baker Fund and the NIQS Foundation for doing this and putting quantity surveyors in mind to think about innovation in the practice. So without wasting much time, we're going to dive into the first paper for today, which will be delivered to us by QS Ifeanyi Samuel Aguguesi, who is a registered Institute of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity, a registered member of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, and also an MBA graduate. So
Okay,
thank you very much, QS.
QS Jamila, please just hold on. I think we're having slight technical issues, please.
Interaction, okay. Is that still on? Okay. Hello. We're good? No, Mr. Uzo, I can't hear you.
Sorry, we're currently experiencing some technical challenges and it's being resolved immediately.
That's fantastic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So that will be resolved shortly.
So in the meantime, can we read
in the meantime,
bio?
Yes, you can read his bio, please.
Yes, okay. So while we're sorting out the technical difficulty, I'd like to introduce Ifeanyi Agugwesi to us. He has been very, very phenomenal in putting together papers and sessions, and he's always available and always ready to assist and lend a helping hand. QS Ifeanyi Samuel Agugwesi is a seasoned quantity surveyor with 16 years of distinguished practice, specializing in managing open innovation construction estimates and fostering user innovation and communities within the industry. His extensive credentials include a certificate in the project management Prince 2 and an MBA in finance and investment, underscoring his multifaceted expertise. A dedicated member of the Institute of Construction Industries Arbitrator and a membership entry training facilitator, QS Agugwesi is renowned for his proficiency in cost control, expert witnessing in construction disputes, project financing alternatives, project management, total cost management, contract administration, construction management, and general quantity surveying practices and services. QS Agugwesi's contribution extends to academia and professional development with numerous published articles and presentations on construction-related topics, both locally and internationally. He holds prominent positions as a senior associate at Ifeanyi Anago and Partners, a firm specializing in quantity surveying, total cost management, and financial engineering, and as the CEO of Costman Consult Limited, a consultancy firm specializing in construction and cost management and expert witnessing. His prior roles include serving as a country coordinator in Nigeria for Alubond West Africa and general manager projects at Focal Point Construction Limited. This reflects his diverse and impactful career. QS Ifeanyi Samuel Agugwesi continues to inspire and lead within the construction industry, leveraging his extensive experience and innovative approach to drive forward the fields of quantity surveying and construction management. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our speaker for today, QS Ifeanyi Samuel Agugwesi. He will be speaking to us today. So a round of, well, apologies, not a round of applause, but I mean, you can still do audio applause wherever you are as we welcome him on board. Mr. Uzo, can we commence now? Has that been resolved?
Yes, he's actually logging back on as we speak.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Let's just give him a few seconds and he'll be back on, please.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, while we're waiting for him, we'll probably just continue to read his accolades so that he will come and join us on a very high note. So he is throughout his career, QS Agugwesi has made significant contributions to landmark projects across the country and overseas. He has worked with various magnanimous organizations and corporations. and he has served as the internal project coordinator, project quantity surveyor for road projects across board, and the consultants on various projects. He's also an expert in project monitoring and gives various advisory services to private and government parastatals. Kiosago Goesi is yet to join us. He probably still wants us to continue reading his accolades. So, with somebody with a vast experience and expertise in his field of study, we will not be leaving this room today if we decide to continue reading all that he has contributed to the construction industry and the built environment at large. He's still yet to join, so I don't know, Mr. Uzo, is there a way that we can find out exactly what the issue is? And if not, we can give him some more time.
Yes, please. Yes, please. He needs more time, please.
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, I humbly apologize for these inconveniences. He will be with us shortly, please.
Oh, that's fine. While we wait for him to join us, Mr. Uzo, I know I gave a very brief recap for what we did yesterday, but you can assist. Oh, okay, fantastic. Fantastic. He's just joined us in. Welcome, QS Samuel Agugu.
Yes, QS Ifeanyi, you're welcome. Apologies for the technical challenges we had. You can unmute yourself, please. Hello, QS Ifeanyi.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Welcome, QS
Yes, we can.
It's fantastic to have you on board. You didn't miss much, but you missed when we were, reading all the fantastic and amazing work that you've been doing across the built environment in the private sector, the public sector, your expertise in project monitoring, cost control, cost estimates, amongst others. But let me not bore us again with all that you've achieved and leave you to take over the floor as we patiently and wait to hear what you have to deliver for us. So yes, Kiotifying, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Jamila. Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be part of this program today. The program today is in two phases, in two modules, and we're looking at the first module this morning. While looking through this paper, I felt that the best way to go about it will be to start with a summary, an overall summary of what this document is, what we are going to talk about. That will help us to have an understanding or a better view of where we're going as the discussion continues. This module, which is 2A, has the theme Open Innovation, a Open Innovation in Construction Estimates, a quantity surveyor's guide. Now, this paper is all about how we apply open innovation when it has to do with estimation. The paper is trying to let us see the difference between how we used to do estimates and what is obtainable now, what is happening for us to meet up with global good practice. Now, what is it that we used to do? Prior to this time, a quantity surveyor who prepares an estimate him alone does his measurements, him alone generates his quantities, him alone goes to the markets, him alone gets his costs from wherever he's able to source his costs from, him alone comes home, does the preparation of his rates, him alone does his pricing of his document, him alone generates his costs. Now, these things, you find out that sometimes the time frame between when he gets one information and when he carries out one activities may have been too large a time that the information he generates at the end of the day may become an obsolete, a dead information kind of. So you see where a design that was done 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, a quantity surveyor is today preparing a bill, measuring the document and preparing a bill for it 1 year after, 2 years after, only him. You find out the situation where the document he produces at the end of the day becomes a dead data. Documents that the information is dead, even on arrival, that you may not be able to do much with it. But it's in contrast with what the paper we have today is positioning. And that is another way of doing this business of estimation. Today, we're going to look at a new method where the quantity surveyor in his trip, in his journey of estimation, is not the only person who does that. He gets to incorporate other people, other professions, other quantity surveyors, other persons who are not even professionals in the industry to be able to do this estimation work that he wants to do. In fact, it also incorporates him using tools, digital tools, and whatever tools that is available to him in order to prepare estimates that will reflect time that we live in, that will reflect what is obtainable at the present. Because a lot of times we prepare estimates that by the time the person who uses it or construction itself has commenced, the document we produce has become useless. The information in it is dead already. We will not be able to use it to do much. And that is the reason why we get on with projects and we find out that the estimates we prepared are not to be used, or that they are deficient in some way because of not being able to follow through these new trends in preparing our estimate. So today, we want to look at exactly what is this new way that we are asked to adopt and abandon the old one. And that is why it is an open innovation. And it is from the perspective of quantity surveyor. We live in a world that is moving every day. The world is moving at a very high pace. A lot of things are happening. And if you're not moving along, you'll be left behind. And that is the reason why quantity surveyors, in order for them to be efficient, in order for them to be proficient, in order for them to be accurate in what they do, quantity surveyors are asked to join the bandwagon of innovation as it goes, especially as it relates to the construction industry and quantity surveying as a profession. By the time we're done today, we would be able to see how in our various organizations, how we will be able to create foundational basis to adopt open innovation. And by the time we're done today, we'll learn how to analyze data or go about the analysis of information we have to be able to come up with documents that reflect time. We'll also be able to see how to use certain kinds of technology in our estimation activities as quantity surveyors. And it will also help us to see how to incorporate other people in our job as estimators. Now, first of all, what do we do as quantity surveyors in order to follow through with the concept of open innovation? Firstly, because we already have a business, because we already have what we are used to doing, the first thing for us to do will be to find a way to uproot what we already have and then plant what is new and what is trending. That will mean that we will need to do some foundational planning, some strategic planning in our organizations. Plannings that will help us see the need to focus our organizations, our mission, and our vision statements. So, mission statement, I mean what your organization stands for, the overall goal of the organization. And when we talk about your vision statement, we're talking about the step-by-step things, goals you achieve to meet up with that large goal, that major goal of your organization. So by the time we are able to face our organization, our mission, and our vision is able to face towards open innovation or face towards accepting new things the way they are coming. That will become a basis, the good standing ground for us to start. A house that doesn't have a good foundation obviously wouldn't stand. And that is why to start is that our organizations are primed to receive new ideas, primed to receive collaborations, primed to receive new ways of doing things. And I said collaboration because that is the next thing that we will be required to do. You see, for us to adopt this new method that we're talking about, our organizations need to be open to accepting, bringing in, forming collaborations, expanding our networks outside the quantities of
If you can share that. You have the presentation. Then share it, but you can.
Apologies about that.
So we, for our organizations to be able to move ahead with the way things are going now, we will need to form collaborations with persons from other professions, architects, engineers. We need to bring them in our process of estimating as estimators or as quantity surveyors, because the new method we're talking about is a method that accommodates these other professions in what we do. Because by the time we take through this course today, we will understand why it is important that we accommodate these other professions in line of what we're doing. So by the time we have done our foundational work, focusing our organizations towards adopting, accepting, getting used to the new method of doing things, we have to create an opportunity, to create an environment where we will need to accept other persons, open the way to work with other professionals in the industry. And after we have done that, we will need to create a resource base, allocate resources, human material to this venture. In other words, we will need to train, we will need to attend seminars, conferences, where these new innovations are being spoken of so that we can benefit. So we have said to start in the adoption of the new method that we're talking about. An organization
Apologies, QSifying, apologies I'm interrupting you, but could you please share your screen so that we can all follow as you deliver your session?
It was being shared. Okay.
No, it's not, we cannot see it. Yes, we can see the introduction now. Thank you.
Okay, but I'm not sure. I'm the one sharing the screen on now. Please, project manager, are you the one sharing?
Okay.
So
if you're having difficulty from your end, we can share from our end. Let us know when you want us to move to the next slide. Or alternatively, if you can share from your end, that would be excellent so that you control your slides. Which do you prefer?
Let me see if I can share from here.
Okay, we'll hold on for you to share. Sorry, audience, please just give us a few minutes. We'll be out of this now. Thank you.
Maybe we should explore sharing the screen from.
Okay, please, because I think I'm having difficulty doing that from here.
Yeah, so when you need to move the slides, you can just say next slide, and Mr. Uzo would oblige. Mr. Uzo, could you kindly share the screen from your end, and then we can proceed with the session.
Yes, it's currently being shared. Thank you very much.
The same thing. Yes, so QSifying, you have
Okay,
the
so
floor.
please go to the point where we have open innovation, please.
That's what slide number? Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
All right, that's okay. All right, so please go back, go to the next one. That's fine, thank you. All right, so I'm trying to recap again that for us to begin the journey of adopting the new method of doing things, the new method of estimation as quantity surveyors, one, we need to set the grounds in our organizations, which is making a strategic plan for refocusing our mission and our vision as an organization. Then we also would want to open the paths, our doors to collaborations with other professional bodies, because we will need them to be able to do that. Then we talked about allocating resources and supporting innovation, which will entail that we make provision for trainings and going to places where this information is being shared, where these new ideas are being propagated. Please, next slide, please. Now, the next thing is to look at the things we need for this business of innovation, the open innovation business. Now, we are seeing that certain things, tools and processes that might be necessary for this business. Let's look at the digital part. In the digital part, which refer to the tools we need, we'll look at things like the BIM and project management softwares. We will look at BIM a little more in details during the course of this discussion because it features prominently in our discussion. Our organizations will need to get used to this building information modeling, get used to project management softwares. We will also look at some of the softwares in the course of discussions today. We will need to get some of these things because we will need them in the business of open innovation. We'll also want to create a management system in our organization that will help to grow and nurture innovation. Because in some organizations, it is difficult to adopt new ideas, let alone growing new ideas. So if we must grow, if we must adopt the new way of doing things, we will need to create a management environment in our organizations that will help us to nurture and grow these innovations as they come. It could be whatever it is we can afford to do to help that when these ideas come, they don't just die off. We have to grow them. And again, we need regular training of our staff, equipping them on what things they need. So if it is softwares, we need to train our staff. Now, for those of us who might not be big organizations, it refers to ourselves. So we will need to get trainings on some of the softwares that are needed, for this business of open innovation. When we have set the ground rules, when we have acquired the tools we need, the digital tools we need, when we have become used to the processes that are required for this business, one would ask, is there any benefit for stressing my life to adopt this new way of doing things? Next slide. I would ask, what will be my benefit in adopting this way of doing things? There are quite a number of benefits if we should adopt the open innovation pattern of estimation. One of the benefits we'll have will be that the job we do, the estimates we make will become .com. They will become accurate. They will become exact. They will become close to life and time detail of what is required in estimation. Please, next slide. When we adopt open innovation, it will help us to give out information that is accurate and efficient at all times. You see, a lot of times, some persons have stopped asking quantity surveyors to do estimates for them. And what's their reason? The reason is because the estimates that they get when they go to site, when it is time for implementation, these estimates do not reflect reality in any way. And we can understand some of these factors in the old way, traditional way of doing things would have contributed to that. But if we adopt this new way of doing things, you are sure that the estimates you prepare will be estimates that are accurate, reliable estimates, that anybody who picks such document of estimates and use them can rely on them, can move to site with them, and can do any business he wants, to take management decisions of any sort that he wants with such information, because they are accurate because of the way we have prepared them. And again, because we are doing that, because our estimates are accurate, it then means we will have times, in fact, it will lead to savings, cost savings at the end of the day. Because when we have proper estimates, it will remove the issues of a lot of allowances, provisions for uncertainty. Because most of the times, estimates you see are laden with a lot of contingency provisions. These contingency provisions at the end of the day become waste, because some of these contingency provisions are tied to quantity, some are tied to rate, and by the time they become contractual, you cannot go back and tell the person that, I made too much of allowance in this job because I wasn't sure, or I was because of the uncertainties. They cannot come. But by the time we have adopted this new method, and the estimates we're giving out are accurate, on point, we will eliminate such extra provisions, such contingent provisions that are not supposed to be. And it will bring down the cost estimates that things we do, and cost of our project to be reduced. And you know what? Ultimately, it will give us a competitive advantage in all that we do. It will give us a competitive advantage, because by the time our clients look at us and they see that we deliver at all times, by the time we look at our project and the cost of our project are what it should be, we are happy, and it keeps us in business at all times. So you can see there are benefits associated with it. And that is why there is a call for us to adopt this new method of estimation. By the time we are on with the things we need to do, what this process is all about in detail, you will appreciate why it has this amount of advantages associated with it. But again, everything that has an advantage also has its own disadvantages. There are challenges associated with the open innovation that we're talking about. One of it is that because we are dealing with a lot of persons, we're dealing with other professionals, we're even dealing with unprofessional people, we share data. And information you share out, a lot of times you don't have control over such information. And we could run into issues because of such. The other things are issues of integration. Some organizations, because they have a system already, there, to bring in another system to it becomes a little bit of problem. Are they going to scrape off the one existing before, the way they have been doing things actually? Or are they going to bring in this new one and marry it with the existing one for it to move? Or are they completely going to ignore the new one and continue with the old one? Or what are they going to do? Becomes an issue sometimes, because it may be things that have to do with softwares, it may be things that have to do with process of doing things. It may even be things that will result to some changes in the structure of an organization. However, this challenge comes, we want to bear in mind that indeed, shifting to this new position benefits us. And if we compare these challenges to the benefit, we'll see that the benefit of adopting the new method of estimation will benefit us more. And again, a lot of persons are resistant to change. They just don't want to change. They want to remain status quo. That way, they just don't want to change. Changing is a little bit of inconvenience. So a lot of persons don't want to change at all. They want to remain where they are. So these are some of the challenges that we see that are associated with this new method of doing things. But when we are saying that there are challenges, it is also nice for us to see that real life projects have been done adopting this new method of doing things. Look at the next slide. There are 3 projects that we're going to look at now that adopted these methods we're talking about, and there are benefits to it. The first one we're looking at, the case study, is the Elizabeth Line, the Crossrail project in the UK. This project took 14 years to do. Started in 2019 and ended, the track was opened sometime in 2022, but in full, the project was completed in 2023. 14 years that project took. Now, the approach they took is a collaboration with multiple stakeholders, contractors. Now, the major company that did the job is called Crossrail Limited. Crossrail Limited is a merger of organizations that formed Crossrail for this project. But even though Crossrail is a merger of companies, they figured out that this project, with their record, imagine a project, the people that with their record get a job of this matter. That's a 118-kilometer rail track in the UK. Now, because of their profile, they had this job to do, but they couldn't also do it themselves. They had to subcontract a lot part of that work, gave out a lot of contracts, formed a lot. In fact, if you see the list of persons who are involved in this Crossrail project, the list is almost endless. The reason is because there is benefit in open innovation. There is benefit in incorporating other persons with some other ideas and experiences. They come together, you put up such wealth of experience on a table and is able to help to deliver a project better than when somebody is just using his unilateral experience in carrying out the project. And what was the outcome? The accuracy of the estimation for this project was top-notch because of the way they accommodated other persons in the job. Everybody came with his own experience, everybody came with his own ideas, everybody came with his whatever he had, and they were able to form this conglomerate that delivered this project in 14 years. This project cost about 18.8 billion pounds. It's a huge project. But the costing was fantastic. It was on point because they collaborated and they met up with their timelines. The project ran as it was supposed to be. This is one of life experiences where the open innovation we're talking about was adopted. Please, next slide. The next is case 2, a project in Australia, the Sydney Metro Line. This is a 113-kilometer rail track. This rail track cost about $21 billion to do. The company that got the job didn't just handle it alone. They engaged, in fact, they even engaged people in the academia. They engaged a lot of persons, experts in certain technology because of what the project looked like. In fact, as this project is still on till today. They've been opening the track in sections, in segments as it goes. And because of the adoption of open innovation in the delivery of this project, so far they have had significant cost savings. In fact, the delivery of this project has been very efficient that people in Australia are so happy for what they have in this. The sort of technology employed in this rail construction is top-notch. It is not just a business of one organization. It is a business of a lot of organizations that came together to form a partnership, a conglomerate kind of, to deliver this project. Everyone bringing to table what he has, everyone bringing to table what he can contribute. And at the end of the day, they have something fine. It is where one company is running up and down. Imagine a 113-kilometer track rail. When are they going to where are they even going to start in delivering it all in full? A lot of mistakes will be here and there if only one organization should do it. But because there is a partnership, because there is a branch off of things, and things are given out a lot of persons to do, you find that the delivery of this project as it is ongoing is seamless and is fantastic. A third case study is in Singapore. Please, the next slide. Singapore is today seen as the first country to have a smart city. It's a city created because the government of Singapore wanted to make life better off. If you look at the picture by the side of the slide, you see the one on top is in 2000, what that view of Singapore looked like. The same view, look at it now, below, what it looks like in Singapore. What happened? It is that when the government of Singapore decided to do this, create a smart city to make life easy for people in Singapore, they awarded this job, and it was a lot of partnership to deliver it. In fact, a lot of technological companies came into Singapore. They've done a lot of partnering to be able to deliver this project. It's an ongoing thing. Singapore is, in fact, Singapore is going towards, they want the entire country to become not just a city, they want the entire country to become a smart country. They want to become the first smart country in the world. And this business is still ongoing. The partnership is still ongoing. They are making use of technology of all sorts in carrying out this project. And what is the result of bringing people together to carry out these kind of job? What is the benefit? What have they achieved? Resources are being used well. Cost management is at top notch in real time. They are carrying out the project and delivering it the way it is. Predictive analytics, the way information that they need to project for the next part of the work, they get it, use technology to come up with these things, statistical data, come up with these things, and they're able to deliver. And these things are not done by just one organization. They are things done by a number of organizations coming together continually to carry out the project like this. You see, we have seen three projects in three different countries where open innovation was adopted, and the fantastic result that follows such. So it becomes quite clear that we're not just talking about stories, we're not just talking about things that exist in the dream or things that exist in books. We're talking about things that are in real life, things that have been carried out. In fact, things that are ongoing, as it were. Remember, this discussion is about how we can change our method of estimating, and from the old traditional method and come to the new method of open innovation, accommodating other professionals, other persons, as well as accommodating technology in doing this. Now, there are advanced steps in this business of open innovation. Let's look at some of these advanced concepts in open innovation. We're going to look at crowdsourcing. What actually is crowdsourcing, one may ask? You see, one is about, let's say you have a building, and one is about to cost a building. Now, you don't just sit down, measure yourself alone, and then you now go to the market, go to the various dealers and find out the prices of items, and then come back, build up your rates, they are multiplied by your quantities, generate amount, and you're able to come up with an estimate. Now, crowdsourcing refers to a way of doing things where you bring in people, different persons, who have different skills related to what you're doing. So if, for instance, I'm costing a building, I don't just sit down, I call, the building has an electrical part, I invite an electrical engineer, I invite even an electrician, I invite electrical material dealers, invite them. The house has mechanical components, I invite a mechanical engineer, I invite plumbers, I invite dealers on plumbing materials. The house has structural details, I invite a structural engineer, I invite people who sell such materials as cement, reinforcement, wood, will invite them. These are persons who have stake, as it were, who have a contribution to make in the work I'm doing. Now, compare these two. By the time I sit down, I by myself get my prices, by myself calculate. Sometimes the information I'm calculating, I will need to now begin to look for markups to do just to take care of certain uncertainties because I'm not sure. Let's take, for instance, one, I want to do, talking about plumbing work. Now I'm able to get the cost of pipes, cost of certain accessories, cost of whatever it is. And I'm putting it down. And by myself, I'm saying, okay, I call the plumber and say, please, this is the house I have. Look at the drawing, tell me how much it is. And the man tells me, okay, for this, I can do it for this. You can put your meter. By the time you gather all that, you add transportation, add whatever, you add your waste for materials, whatever, you build up a rate. What you will get, compare it when you call the man who designed, the mechanical engineer who designed. You get a plumber who is going to do the work. You get the person who deals on plumbing materials, you get them. You bring out your design, you discuss with the man who has designed. He tells you, are there places where some things I have done need to change? Are there places where it remains the same? The plumber who is going to do the actual work is looking at himself, this one here, no go work here, it wouldn't work here, it wouldn't work here. And the man who does the design said, okay, it's good, we can do this adjustment here and there. And the man who has the plumbing materials, there are some places where the line of pipes had increased from these adjustments that is going on now. The man now says, okay, this is how much it is. This is how much it will take me to deliver this to your site. Everybody who has a stake in that business is there or has contributed his own quota to the discussion. The document you are going to generate, the cost you are going to generate is going to be top-notch in accuracy because the persons who are involved, who are still going to be involved in the delivery of the thing itself, have contributed to it. And so what you have is top-notch. Imagine where you take that across all items of work and all sections of work you have in the entire document for the entire building. And you're able to come up with a document of cost. You cannot compare the two, the one you did just by yourself and the one you have put these people, you brought these people in to help do. You can't compare the two because the one you have crowdsourced will become more realistic because all stakeholders, everybody who has a stake in the business is there and they have contributed. It's not just what is in your head. The wastage factor that you may add, the plumber may tell you that there is no need for it. There you may just have to add what you may add may not be as much as you may be thinking in your head because you are uncertain of what it is. Because the person who is doing the job is there. Even if you have to make a provision for contingency, it will become very minute in the document. When you bring out the document, just like we've discussed in the three examples, live examples, you see that these things are exactly come out to the document that nobody can fault. So that is crowdsourcing. Another aspect of it is predictive analytics. We live in times where costs, material costs, labor costs, as it were, each day keeps moving up and down. Today you go to the market, you buy material at this time amount. Tomorrow you go to the market, you don't buy it at the same amount. Sometimes it goes back, sometimes it just keeps going forward, as it were. Sometimes you have a project you want to cost. You are sitting down to check, how am I going to do this? Especially when you may not have all the project, all the information you need to begin to calculate and prepare estimates in details, in piecemeal, from the grass, from the foundation. Now, what do? That is where predictive analytics come in. A situation where you're able to project, you're able to forecast what cost of materials will be in the future by what it has been in the past. So you're able to gather in the last 10 years, in the last 5 years, you're able to gather cost of the same material and you're putting them down. You are now looking at in the last 10 years, materials have been going up and down, materials have been increasing continually, materials have gone up, decreased, materials have gone forth and back. You're able to look at that with some statistical tools. You're able to now check, okay, if materials within this time and this time is this, especially when you have taken a population for such sampling that is good enough. So, in research, if you copy 1 or 2 works, it is called plagiarism. But if you copy 10, 20 works, it is called research. So by the time you get as much as such information as, your sample could take many years, and you're able to check, and you're able to discover a path of occurrence. You can now say, if it has happened like this in the last 10 years, the last 20 years, it means we should be expecting that this is what we'll have in the future. And such projection in cost of materials can help in estimates that we make. And we can't do that. These are things when we know statistics and when we're able to use softwares that are meant for such work. So predictive analytics helps us to get more accurate forecasts of material costs, labor costs, or even the cost of a facility in its entirety when we adopt that. The next to look at is the blockchain technology. say this has enhanced transparency and security. Let me explain what this blockchain is all about. You see, normally, when people produce documents, you produce a document in your computer. The document is yours. You can send to anybody, and you can, at that same document, you can, amend the document, adjust the document at any point in time. But sometimes this document in question may be documents that a lot of persons are using at the same time. So by the time you adjust yours, the other persons, who have the document wouldn't have adjusted theirs. And if you are working with the one you have adjusted, they are working with the one they have not adjusted, there is a problem. There will be, some level of discrepancy and mismatch in the information we give out and the information we use. Blockchain technology is a technology that is there to help, remove such things. It's a technology that everybody tied into it. There is a central document produced. That document, everyone has access to it. But that document cannot be changed because they are stored in what they call blocks, just like you can see the picture you have. They are stored in what they call blocks, kind of, in packages where and chronologically put, so that the document you have, no single person can adjust that document except everybody in the chain has accepted that that change is essential. So if my advocacy doesn't just feel that there is a need for him to adjust something by virtue of some information that he has, I will adjust the document. And then Demide somewhere doesn't have access to it, also somewhere doesn't have access to it, and they cannot adjust that. No, but with blockchain, such wouldn't happen because I cannot adjust that document. I can't do any work on that document except Uzo and David will accept with me, agree with me that there is a need to adjust that document. And they will give permission for me to make the amendment. And everybody in real time will see this amendment that has been done to this particular document, and everybody moves on. So whatever documents that we have in the blockchain is everybody is rest assured that there's nothing wrong with it. Where we have issues where contractor, consultant, client will prepare one certificate, the other person may decide not to pay the certificate and decide to adjust it and pay something else because he has the power to do that. In blockchain, it will not happen. If a document that a joint valuation, for instance, been done and the joint figures are gotten and it is agreed on and that is prepared, everybody signs up and says that is what it is. Nobody adjusts it. It is there. So you cannot now come and say, I'm adjusting it for whatever reason that exists in the moon. I'm adjusting it to bring my own or to put. This is why. No. Before you will adjust it, you will get everybody that is involved, the consultant, the contractor, everybody will be involved in accepting that there is a need to adjust that document. And then it will be adjusted. Now, you see, these are certain things. We're still going to discuss more within the course of this discussion. These are some things, aspects that we need to explore as quantity surveyors. If we must dish out information that is top-notch, efficient information that is accurate, .com information that we need or given out. Imagine where we have taken the steps, adopted any of these methods in the work we do. Nobody will have a complaint against what we do. Nobody will say anything because the information we are giving out is the way it is supposed to be. So we have discussed crowdsourcing, we have discussed predictive analytics, we have discussed the blockchain technology. More is yet to come. Now, the next slide, please. One could ask, so how do I now start? How do I now start applying these things? Please, next slide. How do I now start applying these things, these new things? It's not difficult, kind of. The first thing we need to do is check a small, you don't need to begin practice with very huge projects. Look for small projects, the small projects that you have. Look at it, take it as the pet project, the pilot project. Take it and look at it. Use it to test run this new method we're talking about to see how far you can go. And by the time you test it, you're able to try it out on a new project. You may not get it all completely initially when you start. The second point is that you need to be continuous with adopting the new thing. So you just keep trying your hands Where you have made mistake, find a way to patch up, find a way to make it try, just continue to go. And then engage people outside, engage stakeholders, find out the persons who have a say, who have some level of contribution to what it is we're discussing. Get them involved in this your pilot project and get their contribution, sit them on the table, get their contribution to this discussion, and then you move. In this way, you're able to make improvement, you're able to get used to, become used to this. We said earlier, change is not always easy, especially some changes that require some high level of changes and adjustment in the way we do things. It may not be easy to take on, but by the time we just keep taking it in small bits, we'll find out that at the end of the day, we'll be fit to try it out on major projects. If we were in person, there are some exercises that we would have tried out. However, I will summarize these exercises that we're supposed to do. It is just like we suggested, find out what spans, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, a SWOT analysis of your organization or your own skill as a person. Check the things you are good at and the things you're not good at, where you need improvement and where you don't need, and where you need to continue the way you are doing. When you're able to do that, you develop a plan on how to, okay, since this is where I have strengths and my weaknesses, what now do I need to do to the places where I have weakness? What do I need to do now to improve them? If those weaknesses are going to affect your adoption of this new way of doing things, then look for places where such thing has been adopted before, just like we discussed 3 case studies. Look for such case studies, read about them, know what they did, and see how in your own small way you can apply these things that they did. And then you can create an environment to adopt and integrate the needed technology into what you are doing. So find out, do you need to remove some software? Do you need to buy some software? Do you need to do some trainings to learn how to use certain softwares? Check such things out. And then you conduct a sustainability study to see if what this thing, am I going to make headway out of it or not? Am I going to make headway out of it or not? If you have doubt in some places, you want to see how to follow up so that you don't start and then at some point drop out because you cannot continue with the things you're doing. So this is what this summary of of this discussion we've had so far, in summary, is saying that there is a need for us to check the context of the jobs we do, our organizations, what we stand for, the kind of things we do, and begin to check in what ways are we going to incorporate this new way of doing things, this new way of estimating, so that we are top-notch, so that we are at the level where it is supposed to be, where we are supposed to be. We are competing with any organization across the world. Wherever our document goes, anybody who looks at it is able to tell that professionals did this job. Now, when we do such context understanding of our firms, then we also want to look at the benefits. Because when we see that there is benefit for us in something, there is motivation to do it. So we will have more move, more persuasion to try, no matter what it is, especially when there is advantage, good benefit from it. Again, there are challenges. We also want to look at the challenges and see how to overcome them. So in summary, for this model we have discussed now, we are saying that there is a new method in town. It's not a sheriff anymore, but a method in town. That new method in town is bringing to an end gradually the old way of doing estimating. We don't want to drop it. We want to take on the new way. You see, the reason why this kind of training is arranged is for us to understand that there is a need for us to meet up with people in other parts of the world where these things are. We don't want to be left behind. So this is a call for all of us now to see the need, especially for those of us who love efficiency, who love accuracy, who love to stand out in the things we do, who love to give information that cannot be challenged by anybody. This is the time for us to adopt the open way, open innovation method of estimating, so that the information we get out become information that anybody can digest at any point in time, stand on it, and they will say that quantity surveyors are doing so well. So thank you very much. This is how we come to the end of this part of this discussion today. I don't know if David will allow us to take any questions now or not. David, over to you.
Fantastic contribution there from QS Ifeanyi. Thank you so much. You spoke to us about the innovative ways that quantity surveyors can estimate and work on projects at large. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your contribution to that session. Yes, we will take questions and answers, but just before we do that, I know that quite a number of us joined a bit late, so I will do a short recap of the session where you spoke to us about how, I'm sure the bullets that you threw there caught almost all of us here, where one quantity surveyor would go around and collect information, one quantity surveyor would do the measurement, one quantity surveyor would do literally everything that comes together in putting a successful bill of quantities or whatever resource that you would is required of the quantity surveyor. So that used to be the old method of estimating, the old practices, and you asked us to adopt or open up and welcome the newer ways, the newer innovative methods that are out there. You gave us tools and processes for fostering open innovation, where we talked about digital platforms, which was extensively discussed yesterday by QSCJ, and today you would be doing more on that as well. Thank you. Talked about innovation management systems to track evaluation ideas, where we should adopt the new ways that are available and also monitor them from start to finish, or monitor them progressively to see the impact that they have on projects. This is about regular training and development programs, but almost, in fact, every single program that is put together, we always talk about regular training and advanced professional development, because that's the only way to better yourself. That's the only way to advance, and that's the only way to improve in your service delivery. Because at the end of the day, quantity surveying is a service delivery oriented profession, and the only way you can excel in that is to train and continue training yourself. You spoke about the benefits of innovation in estimating for quantity surveyors, where enhanced accuracy estimates, whereby when we embrace the new methods of estimating, it reduces our exposure to mistakes. It makes our estimates more accurate. It also increases cost efficiency, because before now, a lot of us are very guilty of this, where you say allow for a lot of provisional sums are being used for bills, but using innovative methods which allows for some softwares to take better and more accurate measurements, we're able to measure even the tiny details. So it increases our cost efficiency and increases our accuracy in measurements. It also increases the competitive advantage through continuous improvements and adapting cutting-edge technologies. So it puts you in a better light. It puts you at an advantage where you can sell yourself better by saying, oh, I can use this software, I can use that software. So in a room where you have quite a number of people using the traditional methods, and you come out and say, oh, I am advanced in XYZ, that gives you a better advantage over others. So that was one of the benefits that you spoke to us about in terms of adopting innovative ideas and cost estimates for quantity surveyors. As we all know, adopting new ways, there are new trends, there are always challenges. So you spoke to us about the risks of exposure, because one of the new ways is use of internet. It puts out your data out there, and they're very, if you're not, how do I put it? If you're not vast in cybersecurity, you're exposing your data to bugs and phishers out there. And then there's also integration issues. So if you're working in a group with a group of people, and quite a number of people are yet to be at the same level of expertise as you, there's a bit of integration issues where you're working together as a group on that. you gave us examples of some of these projects that have successfully adopted innovative ideas and have run with it. Some of them are still ongoing and some of them are successful. We talked about the Sydney Metro line in Australia, which is still ongoing and is being adopted, or it's being released or open to the public in sections. We talked about the Crossline project in the UK, one of Europe's largest infrastructure projects, which was done adopting innovative ideas and was very successful at that. We also talked about the Smart City project in Singapore, amongst many other iconic projects that are currently being constructed and are using innovative ideas in quantity surveying. You spoke to us about advanced concepts in open innovation, where we can do crowdsourcing. They're different, and from what I understand from that section, it was about different ways that you can collect data that would be implemented, right? Specifying, did I get that correctly? Where you talked about advanced concepts in open innovation. You talked about crowdsourcing, predictive analysis, and then the blockchain technology. So these are different ways that you can use the innovative ideas that you have adopted in a more efficient way, right? Did I get that correctly?
Yeah, they are steps in line for the open innovation we're talking about. There are things we do in line for that, new way of doing things.
Fantastic. So besides that, you give us practical applications and industry trends, like how exactly do we proceed? Okay, yes, I'm here now. I understand BIM. I'm here now. I've learned Plan Swift. I'm here now. Robotics. I'm here now. I can fly a drone. How do I implement these innovative ideas in my everyday practice? You give us a very simple step as easy as starting with small projects in our circle. This brings me to an interesting point that I had in the office the other day, where as simple as using a hard drive, like I was working with a team and they were asking information on bill of quantities. I was like, oh, we can actually have this document and look at it all at once instead of all of us gathering on a shared system. Drop it on the hard drive and we're good to go. And everybody was very, very inquisitive, finding out, oh, how is that possible? How is this? And in 2 seconds, the whole team was aware of it, and we were able to adopt using a hard drive for shared files, amongst others. That is something as easy as that. I mean, that is not even like a major quantity surveying practice, but it's just an example of how starting small or implementing it on a simple task that you do on a day-to-day basis, and how you can get better at it when you practice. You also talked about adopting continuous improvement mindset, we just talked about. So the more you practice on something that you just learned newly, the better you get at it, and the more you can even teach others and become an expert in that field. Also engaging stakeholders throughout the innovation. So it's okay to ask questions because the world is evolving, new things are being learned every day. So where you do not understand something, you can have a mentor, you can have somebody that you're learning the software from, ask questions, and then you get clarity and you get quick explanations from that. You rounded off the session by giving us key exercises. I mean, even though we cannot and we're not able to do this on a bigger platform, we can still take this assignment as a take home and do this to better ourselves. Like we talked about continuous professional development, right? So these key exercises can assist us in adopting or even finding out the new innovative ideas that are out there and implementing it in our daily lives. We can implement it in ourselves as individuals, or in the smaller groups that we work in, or in the organizations that we work in, conducting a SWOT analysis, find out what the issue is, find out what is lacking, what is the strength, what is your, talking about yourself now as an individual, what is your strength, what is your weakness, what do you have that you can give, or where do you think that your strengths can be used appropriately, and your strength can be enjoyed, and then what are the areas that you feel you need to improve upon? Do a SWOT analysis of yourself or even in the group that you work in. Also develop strategic plans for open innovations. How best can you adopt the innovative areas that are available to you in your primary space? Talks about evaluating case studies. Pick a case study, pick an example of a project that you're working on at the moment, and see how you can improve on it with any of the existing innovative trends that we have. Also creating technology integration plans. A lot of the innovative, a lot of the innovative trends that we have at the moment are very, very heavy on technology. So for you to keep up, for all of us to keep up, it's important that we all try to catch up on the technological trends as well. So create a technology integration plan, open up your mind to learn new things, open up your mind to learn the new technology that would enable you to absorb the innovation that comes with the technology with regards to estimating and quantity surveying. Also conducting a sustainability assessment test where not just learning it, but how best you can adopt this and take the best advantage of it so you can continue using it to your best interest. Thank you very much, QS Ifeanyi. That was a very, very fantastic session. It was very eye-opening, and I'm very certain that a lot of us on this call would agree with that. A note has been dropped for all of us participants that we should please, if you have any questions, you're free to raise your hands. Because Ifeanyi would be taking questions for this session. So if you have any questions, if you're not clear on a particular section that was discussed, you can raise your hand and more light would be thrown in that regards. Thank you. Well, while we're waiting for questions, are the panelists allowed to ask questions? Here to find just for clarity. Yes, Kirsifying. Are you here with us?
There are some questions. There are some persons raising their hands. I don't know.
Okay, perfect. So if you have a question, hold on. Mr. Uzo, do we have to unmute the participants for them to ask their questions or?
Yes, they can actually unmute.
Okay, so yes, I have one question from, oh, okay, no, that's not a question. It's just a glitch that has been resolved. But please, if you have a question, kindly unmute yourself, introduce yourself and ask your question. I cannot see the.
Okay, please, Ibrahim Daibu, please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, QS Ibrahim, you have your hand up. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. QS Ibrahim Daibu.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, QS Ibrahim. Go ahead and ask your question.
I'm so excited to be part of this forum this morning. Considering everything discussed from our last workshop until now, including learning project management software and using BIM, what is the most necessary and urgent skill for us as quantity surveyors to dive into? I'm curious to know what you feel is more necessary and urgent for us to dive into, because the innovation in question is so diverse that I'm even confused on what exactly that is necessary and more urgent for us to go into. Thank you very much.
Okay, Ibrahim, your question is well understood. Let me say this to you. The first question to ask is, what do I, Ibrahim Daibu, want to do? You see, we have discussed, and in fact, you will need to pay attention because the next section of this discussion we're going to discuss in details these new areas of expertise. So the first question you need to ask is, what do I even want to do? Which of these areas do I have interest in? When you are able to identify which of these areas you have interest in, then you can then proceed. Look for, if it is softwares, if it is training, or whatever you need in these aspects, you want to proceed. We've discussed some things. We talked about crowdsourcing, we talked about predictive analytics, we talked about some other things. And we said it is, by the time we discuss more, you get to see, you need to first of all understand, tell yourself where you want to go. If you know where you want to go, then you can then tell yourself, this is what is essential to be done. Nobody can tell, just like you said, the scope is wide. Quantity surveying has left the old way. The new way of quantity surveying now is quite large, a lot of things to do, but you need to specialize, kind of. You need to take some areas and specialize and then carry out what you need in those ones. So first of all, identify where you want to go, your goal, your focus. Then that is when you can then tell what you want to do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that beautiful response to Chris Ibrahim's question. So you need to find out what your strengths are as a person, as an individual, and also find out the field or the area that you're more interested in where you'd want to practice. But how best do you know the areas if you do not study the existing trends? So if let's say for instance, you've been consulting, you're working in the consulting space, and you will not know the new ways or the new trends in that field if you do not go and research, which is what this program is assisting us to do. This program is opening our minds up to the existing trends that are available in the quantity surveying practice. So by the time after this session, you can go and do more research in these areas and see how these trends tie into your existing practice. And, whichever area that piques your interest, or you feel you can excel, or you feel you're able to make an impact, then you can go further and study. So thank you very much, Chris Ibrahim. We have Chris Frederick Michael. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Chris Ibrahim, thank you. You can mute yourself back for others to give their questions.
Frederick Michael, you can ask your question, please.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear. Please proceed.
All right. Thank you, QS Ifeanyi, for the wonderful session you had. While before you started, your bio was being read out, and I noticed that you are an MBA. You have an MBA. So with the paper you delivered, I want to ask, in your experience and with what you've seen, where are emerging areas for Africans who want to be economically and politically inclusive, given the current market trends? And we are looking at AI, the AI of things. We are looking at many innovations that are currently emerging, and typically Africans are always left behind. So for people that want to be able to take a leap and be ahead of their time, where would you say, especially for people that would want to also do MBA, just like you, where are concentrations in where should we look at? So where are the areas that you would say we should be looking at for African markets?
It's Frederick Michael, thank you for that question. But let me crave your indulgence. The answer to your question, I think, please ask me this question again when we are done with the second module, please. Because the second module has a lot of, we have an outline, a long list of emerging areas, and we're going to discuss these areas in the context of what we have in Nigeria, not in the context of what is abroad. We're going to discuss them in local context for you to see. It is when you have listened to this now, I think maybe you can then ask this question. Let's then see. Because if you're not able to pick one at a time, because these ones we're going to discuss are emerging areas, local content, so that you can see, appreciate the thing.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So we cannot jump the horse. We would get to know what the emerging areas are, and then without even him answering your question, you would be able to answer the question by yourself after you've listened to him and listened to what he has to say with regards to all that, the different areas and contexts with regards to the Nigerian market. We have QS Aliyu, Kotu.
Okay, QS Jamila, hold on, please.
Yes.
Just 1 minute. QS
Yes.
Ifeanyi, I believe a lot of the participants are super excited. They're learning so much, and they're kind of like running ahead of themselves in their minds, trying to know, okay, open innovation, how do we implement this? What areas of specialization will benefit us the most in the African or in the Nigerian context? So ladies and gentlemen, all I'll just say to you, be patient, wait for module 2, which will be coming up shortly. And trust me, these questions you're asking regarding how it can be implemented in the Nigerian context, what softwares that are best able to be used regarding this in the quantity surveying field. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if your questions are directed towards that perspective, I urge you to please hold on for the second part of this training. Yeah, QS Jamila, you have the floor, please.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was going to try listen to the next participants. And if his question is still in that field, then we will just move on to the next session, because like he said, like Mr. Uzo said, everyone is excited. You've given us the tip of the iceberg and we're like, okay, when is the next candy coming? So may I have the permission of the DG to move on to the next slide so that everyone on board fully assimilates the message, and then all questions can be asked together, because all the questions will be surrounding the innovative ideas that would be discussed.
Fine. Have you exhausted all the questions?
We have one more question.
Person's hand.
Okay, let the person ask, then we can move on.
Okay, thank you.
So QSGD Emmanuel Felix, please unmute yourself. Actually, we have just one more that just came on. So we have QSGD Emmanuel, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Good morning.
You talked about analyzing data, and of course, when we talk about analyzing data, we need data. And in the construction industry, I'm pretty sure that there is no availability of data. So I want you to emphasize more on that. Do you think there are possibilities that data will be made available, considering the construction settings where, the higher a firm, the higher their rate will be, and the lack of transparencies in this, in their rates and the likes? Do you think there can actually be, availability of data in the construction industry?
Okay, because Jide Emmanuel, I think just vibe blow a little bit. Don't worry. I will answer this question in the next. This information you are seeking, don't worry. I'll talk about it in the next module. Just calm down small. Get there.
Thank you. All the participants that have asked questions, we've noted it down, and just be ready to receive your answers in the second session in detail. So kindly indulge us and stay with us. We still have a lot more in store for you. I want to believe the last participant also is going to patiently wait for the second session. So that's about it for the hands raised. With the permission of the DG, we'll be moving on to the second session.
Go ahead.
We're ready. We're excited to listen to the main dish, since we have clearly listened. We've had the appetizer and our taste buds are watering. So we're ready to have the main dish now, because all the participants are hungry with questions. They're hungry for knowledge. So you have the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me think. Okay, so this 2B, the theme for this section is quantity surveying, innovation, and communities. So in this model, we are going to look at one, innovation as it relates to quantity surveying. Two, we're going to look at community kind of, community when it has to do with quantity surveying job. How do we create communities? How do we form communities? And what do we do with these communities in what part we're going? Now, innovation as it is means something new ideas, new way of doing things, just something new. That's innovation that comes. And when we talk about communities, we're talking about people coming together to achieve something. So if we're looking at quantity surveying, innovation, and community, we're looking at the new ways of doing things and how we also incorporate others while doing things, as quantity surveyors. By the time we are done with this role, we will understand the role of innovations in quantity surveying today. We're also going to look at the benefits and challenges that come with community engagement in quantity surveying. We're going to look at how we will put into practice innovative solutions that we have, and then we're going to look at these technologies that we need to adopt for these emerging roles in quantity surveying. So now, let's begin. Quantity surveying of today is a quantity surveying that innovation has a lot of role to play. So without innovation, the quantity surveying is becoming obsolete if we're not going with innovation. Because the old way of doing things, people are tired. Even we practicing become tired. A lot of persons have become tired of the practice because it's just bill, it's just rates, it's just valuation. It's just the traditional thing. The world is evolving. Other shades of yesterday, QS Choma talked about the advancement in medical field, where they are replicating humans. The other day I saw where a man who didn't have legs, he has legs, he can run and do a lot of things. So there are advancements in some other spheres of human endeavor. So quantity surveying, are we now going to be left behind? Are we not going to move forward? The bedrock of the future quantity surveying is in innovation. So now let's look at some areas of innovation. We're going to look at 4 major areas, but these 4 major areas will be broken down into sub-areas that we'll get to accept. Now, the first area we're going to look at is the digital technologies. And I will take 3 areas under digital technology. The first is the BIM. A lot of us hear BIM, Building Information Modeling, but a lot of us do not really understand what BIM is and how we key into BIM. It's just simple. Building Information Modeling is just having a soft copy design of a facility, building, or whatever it is, having it in a computer. Just that building, that form, that building, that facility we want to construct, this version of it, a soft copy version of it in a system. That's what it is. Now, that soft copy that we have in the system is present in it. If you're looking at it, you're able to see different characteristics of that facility as you're looking at that soft copy of that drawing as a facility as you're looking at it. Now, let's take, for instance, let us use a building, which all of us are very familiar with. How do we all fit into BIM as a technology, as a means of practice in quantity surveying? Let's look at how it happens. A facility is to be constructed. There are architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, who that has a part to play in that facility. Now, there is a dummy of it in the system where everybody has access to. So wherever you are in the world, you have an access to that document via a software. Everyone who is involved in the system will have that software on which the design is made. Now, each person who has access to that design, the architect If, for instance, as the building, maybe the building has started being constructed, and the architect feels that maybe the owner of the house now says that there's a need for him to add something to it, that building. Now, what the architect does is the architect adds that thing on the drawing, that soft copy drawing that everybody sees. As he's adding it, everybody who has access to that technology is saying that he has added something to it. And he doesn't just add it, he gives the specifications or so whatever details he has for that part that he's adding. In fact, including the time that he's adding it, he adds the time. Now, the structural engineer, if he will need to update his own structures with regards to that, the structural engineer updates the structures, which everybody is also seeing. As he's updating it, everyone is seeing that he's updating the structure in real time. Now, if he's done, the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, everyone who has a part to play, for that part, new part has been added, everybody sees that it's been added. The quantity surveyor costs it, and when he does, he's seeing the new parts that's been added. If he has any question, as they are adding it, he's asking them what the question. Okay, this part you're seeing, what is there? What is there? He's seeing it, everybody is seeing it in real time, what is being added. He will now come and cost that part. Maybe he has cost the major part of the building before, he has not cost this new part. He will cost this new part. As he's costing it, with the information that he has on ground, everybody is saying, whatever information he needs there, he's asking the engineers, the architects, the electrical, the engineers, they are giving him the information, he's costing it. And there on that document, that design, that cost that he's putting up, it will be reflected on it. Everybody who has access to that document, that design, is seeing the new part that has been added, how much it is that that part will cost to do in relation to the cost of the entire building that been cost earlier. So whatever it is anybody is doing is reflected on that drawing. Everybody is seeing it at the time that it's being done. So it's just a question of that. Do you know now? Yesterday, CJ had said AutoCAD is off. It doesn't fit into this new way. You have Revit and some other project management softwares, design softwares that you can use. Now, if you are able to learn how to use these softwares as a quantity surveyor, you learn how to use Revit and some of these other ones, you are preparing yourself to become part of the system that can do BIM, because you already can understand designs. You can understand whatever it is that is represented in the design. But the thing is that you haven't been able to train yourself to see how you can cue into this system where that others are using. In the UK, in the US, in so many parts of the world, in Singapore that we talked about, in Australia we talked about, these things are being used. This method is used. So the question is, as a quantity surveyor now, this is a new area coming up. Are you conversant with this area? Are you putting yourself ready, getting yourself ready for this that you're talking about, for this BIM thing? Or we're hearing BIM, and it's sounding French to us, as if it's something out of the moon. It is just this which I have described in very simple terms. So you are asking, how do you fit in and get ready to be able to work with other professionals around the world who can use the BIM platform for the work they do? That is an imagined area in quantity surveying. Are you ready for it? Do you have interest in it? Do you want to be part of the BIM squad, the BIM preachers, the BIM apostles in the world? This is time for you to begin to train yourself. Find the softwares you need and train yourself. These softwares can take off for you and do cost estimations for you, but these are the minima of what these softwares can do. They can create the takeoffs you sit down and spend hours doing. These softwares can take off for you. As soon as you put them, they just do calculations for you of whatever it is that's been designed, and you have your cost. And there are database of costs. If they don't have, you impute your own cost and create cost estimations for the designs that have been done. And everybody in real time has access to that information. That is the building information modeling. We have artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, the AI we see today. AI, it's ordinarily, in very simple terms, artificial intelligence is just making machines act like humans, making machines to do things that humans can do. That's in very simple terms. What what artificial intelligence is. And they have different levels. There are AIs that are limited to just what you give, program it to do, that's what it does. There are AIs that, just like the one you have in your WhatsApp, where you ask AI some questions, AI is able to get out some information. It updates itself with information and answers you. And that's why sometimes you can ask AI some questions and AI gives you an answer that is a bit wrong. And when you tell it it is wrong, it tells you it's trying to improve itself, because that's that level of AI as it is now. They are working on some other AI we call the artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence. The artificial general intelligence is the one they are working on now that is going to do everything that a human can do. It show feelings. Everything a human can do, machine can do it. These machines can do it. And the one they say it's coming at the super intelligence is the one that can overdo humans, do things that other humans cannot do. Well, we're waiting for them to do that. Now, how do we even use artificial intelligence as quantity surveyors? See, there is what we call pattern recognition and precise forecasting. You see your email, if you open your email, you have spam and you have your inbox. You have mails that come. You are not the person who directs them to your spam. They just go there. And you have the ones that go to your inbox. You don't direct them, you go there. What happens is that computer is pattern recognizing. The computer has been programmed that certain information with certain characteristics or features that they are not supposed to be inside here, that they are supposed to be inside here. So when that mail comes, if its computer recognizes it with some of those characteristics, it pushes it to spam. If it recognizes if it sees it with some other kind of characteristics, it pushes it to the other say it's inbox. That is pattern recognition. That we can do, we can use in quantity surveying. How? You see, you have a project cost. Every building has its characteristics, features, and whatever it is, as it were. Now, computers can be designed in a way where quantity surveyors can go over time, capture data. The person who was asking of data today, you can go and capture data by yourself. You may have been involved in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 100 units. You may have companies that have delivered buildings that have certain characteristics. You acquire information, the characteristics of these buildings, how much it took, how long it took to deliver this project. That is a historical data. You keep that is good. You can capture that for 1,000 buildings of different sizes, different characteristics. You gather this information and form a database. That is an area a quantity surveyor can face. That is an area of concentration. You can gather such information. Now, what do you do with such information? If tomorrow I have a building with certain characteristics, I will come and I will go into the database and I will put in the information, the characteristics of the building I have, the floor area, the area, floor area, how many floors, whatever it is, description I have. I put it into the database. And the database will identify projects that have similar characteristics as the one I have put in. And it will show me. When it shows me every information the database has of that information, of that building. So I am now, faced with some data, information of certain buildings that have similar characteristics with the one I have. I will now begin to look for the one that fits most the one I want to do. That data can guide me in, charting the cost, the estimate of the new building that I have. That's because there is an existing database that's been created. Creating this database, if one has an understanding of how computers, softwares are created, the database is not a problem, because it is a question of making out time, and if you source the resources, even if you, just like we're talking about open innovation, if it's something you can't do alone, you can get a group of persons who have the same interest, and you can go into that aspect of business. And when you source such information, it is there, you're creating a database for quantity. This information will be needed. I tell you that every single day, quantity surveyors need such information, because a lot of times you have projects, big projects that you cannot the cost of those projects, and you don't have the time to come and sit down to come and begin to measure them. There's no time. Preliminary estimates you will do, you will need to have some level of experience to do preliminary estimates. If you don't have that level of experience, what do you now do? If there is such database, it's simple. It is just to pay and access such database and queue in the characteristics of the building you have, and you get information. Computer does the pattern recognition. So with pattern recognition, the computer is able to get out of that 1,000 data or whatever how many data you have. Computer is able to bring out the ones that fit the one that you have described, and you have information as to how to cost your project using historical data. That is how artificial intelligence can help. So what is stopping me as a quantity surveyor to getting into artificial intelligence and creating such room is a niche of its own that quantity surveyors can create. We don't all need to be scrambling for views and all that. This is old way of doing things. The world has left that place. We're in a new place now where time is of essence. Everybody's running. Things are in fast pace to capture what is happening. So nobody has that time now to sit down to come and wait for when you take 1 week, 2 months, 1 month to measure drawings and prepare bill. The time is passing away. People are leaving us behind. We can create databases where we can source such information from. It's not a rocket science. It's not something that we cannot do here in Nigeria. It's not something that cannot be done here in Africa. It's very doable. I know persons who have developed such softwares for preparing bills and what have we. If we can develop such, why can't we do prepared software that gives us a database of information that we can use for such? And we talk about precise forecasting. It is such information that can, okay, when we have gotten such historical data, it can help us now forecast, okay, if this building with this characteristic costs this, if this one costs this, okay, give and take inflationary index, this is what it could be now. It gives us an idea that helps us to come to almost an accurate information of what it is. The next is data analytics. Somebody was asking about data. You see, I was given an instance before of what's it called? Cost of materials. You see, I am aware the institute is working on some of these database things. Some persons I'm also aware are working on some of these things. We can have a database of materials, and I'll give you an instance. Presently, I have just been appointed as an expert in a tribunal. What does the tribunal want me to do? The contractor has revised his bill twice. And the latest revision that he has, the thing is so much. The client is now saying, no, I want to check from when this project started, I want to check what has material costs been like? What has the inflation, how has inflation affected material costs within this plan? And I want to check if with the way the trend of material prices, the movement in material prices, how does it translate to this amount, this rate, this new revision that the quantity survey is giving? That's the job I have now. And that is data analytics. As a matter of fact, if I had a quantity surveyor who has a database of information of prices in over the years, what I'll just do now is just to pick the years in question, and I'll call him and ask him how much I'll pay him, and he will tell me, and I'll just pick that information, and I'll go and do my analysis of what I want to do. That is another area quantity surveying is going. We don't all need to sit down and be calculating quantities. We don't feel like that. That time has passed. We're not there anymore. Let us leave those ones for quantity surveyors who are leaving school yesterday, so that they will come and try their hands on those ones before they can now move to the real thing. Let us go to the real thing. So quantity surveyors can now gather data themselves. We can get material prices in years and store them. This is in 2000 and this we have range of material prices. We have them in stock. The use for them is there every day. When quantity surveyors in this country know that you have such information, my brother and sister, they will come. They will come and look for you and ask you to give them the information, and they will pay to get it. You don't need to sit down and go to site. You already have done your own, and in these computers, in your system, you have the database, and people will pay to get that information. And now, if I do not understand data analytics, how will I now do this job that they're asking me to come and do? It is because I've already learned this thing. That's why when the job has come, I'm using my 2 hands to accept the job to come. But if I don't know, how will I now do the job? So as a quantity surveyor, go and learn data analytics. It is important. The data you need, construction data is everywhere. Gather construction data and build your own database for work you do. This is not something that requires going abroad to do. We have a lot of persons who are great computer analysis, data analytics in Nigeria, and who can help us understand, teach us data analysis, and we will now just zero it down to construction and gather construction information. That it is for digital technologies. The next is sustainable practices, where we're looking at life cycle costing, where we're looking at green building certification. Now, what part role do we have in this? Please, next slide. What role do we have in this? Life cycle costing. We are looking at cost of acquisition, operation cost, maintenance cost, and if there's disposal cost. All that cost together is what we call life cycle cost. Now, you are asking, how can a quantity surveyor can take up this as a niche in practice? You already know by your training as a quantity surveyor how to get the acquisition cost of construction, cost of the project itself. Now, for operation, whatever facility that is, there are costs you spend in operation. If it is a building, cost of lighting, cost of energy of all sorts, cost of water, cost of whatever cost of running that facility, whatever it is that it will cost to take. The quantity surveyor can specialize in being able to check, from historical data and from things obtainable now, such a building, this is the volume of water it could use in so length of years. This is the extent of energy it can use in this length of time. Such information, a quantity surveyor can become an expert in getting them. You have them. Then you're talking about maintenance. If it is a building, maybe it has solar. These solar batteries can change in 5 years. These bulbs, that their lifespan is 2 years, 1 month. You know these things. You're able to check, calculate the cost of maintenance over the lifespan of this building. You can have it. And for depreciation, if it is a facility that will be disposed, you will now be looking at the depreciation value over the period of time, and you're looking at how much you're going to sell of this facility if you're selling. Now, when you know how to calculate these things together, you are an expert in life cycle costing. What else are we discussing? You can by yourself prepare these things. And even when a building, a facility is designed, at design level, people are consulting you because they want to make some decisions, investment decisions. They're asking you to know if it is profitable to go ahead with this facility with this cost, life cycle cost that it has. So one is checking, if I'm going to spend this amount in the life cycle of this building, what is my return on investment? These are things to be used. You can become an expert in this area. Then we talk about the green building, using materials that are friendly, eco-friendly to construct. Some persons have taken it as a niche, advising clients on materials, and these materials have carbon credit. There are, in fact, in some places, you have some tax, holiday for this kind of materials to use. We have become experts in advising people on the kind of materials, eco-friendly materials, and that will be cost-effective that they can use in their facility. That is a niche on its own for quantity surveyor. So what are we waiting for? Are we still sitting down to do return fill and dam? Are we still sitting down to compute bid and wait for those who give us drawing, prepare bid and price bid for them? Is it what we're still waiting for? No. There are a lot of things to do, and let us pick up these areas. They are areas of expertise that you can take. Next slide, please. The next area is in risk management. We're talking about probabilistic cost estimation and scenario planning. Let me explain what these two areas, what's all about. Probabilistic cost estimation. You see, now we do what we call deterministic estimation, where you tell somebody this house is going to cost 10 billion, 1 million, 100 million to build. But you see, it's an estimate a lot of times. In fact, in my own little span of experience, I've never seen that the estimate given for a building that works. I don't know if anybody has seen. I've not seen. It just doesn't work that way. It goes left or right at the end of the day. Now, probabilistic cost estimation is what is latest now. We no longer tell people this your building is going to cost you 10 billion. We don't do that now. We give people a range, kind of, because there are uncertainties we don't have control over in costing. There are uncertainties we don't have control over. So some of these uncertainties, we put them into, via some statistical tools, we put them into consideration. So a building, you want to tell somebody that the building is going to cost 1.5 billion, but you don't want to, that is not very sure. So what you come and tell the person, now this building is going to cost between 1 billion and 2 billion. But that the probable cost you're looking at is 1.5 billion. So you are giving the person a range and say, this cost, the cost for this facility is within this range, between 1 and 2 billion naira. But from the things you have checked, we're looking at probably around 1.5 billion, 1.4, 1.3. That person takes that document, in his mind, he knows that there is a possibility of him spending up to 2 billion on that project, even though you are telling him that from the things you checked, you're looking at 1.5 billion. But he has at the back of his mind that there is a possibility of getting to 2 billion. That's on its own. Understanding how to use statistical tools to come up with do such things is a niche on its own, is a skill on its own that quantity surveyors should have. Scenario planning. To explain scenario planning, let me compare it to forecasting. Now, you are just like discussing about probabilistic cost estimate, you're now saying in forecasting, you say, I'm forecasting that this project, this building is going to cost this amount in so time or duration of construction. That's what it's going to cost. That is forecasting. You are being particular as to what you're looking at in terms of achievement, in terms of result. But in scenario planning, you don't look at that. Now, let me explain how you gather some data. Maybe in the last 5 years, you gather some data about 110 buildings, for instance. Now, in the 10 buildings, forecasting will do, if 5 out of the 10 buildings I have gathered, if 5 are within the range of a particular amount, within an amount, while the other 5 are scattered in terms of what their value is. Forecasting says, take the one that, so maybe the cost has been between 1.3, 1.2, 1.5 billion, around that. So forecasting is now, okay, since this is the major occurrence in this population I've taken, since this is a major occurrence, it then means this building is probably going to cost 1 point something billion. So you now advise that the building is going to cost 1 point something billion. But in scenario planning, it's not that. Scenario planning takes a wider look. It says, okay, in this 10 population of 10 that you have, okay, 5 is within 1 point something. There is 3 that is 2. And this one is, there is 1 that is 1 billion. And there is 1 that is 5 billion. Scenario planning will come and say, instead of me saying because 5 of them fall within a range, taking that range, say no, I will take this range, that's 1. But I'm also, there is a reason why these other figures appear for this particular kind of building with this particular characteristic. So you're now only now saying, let me take the 1 point something that is for forecasting. You're now saying, okay, I'll take the 1 point something, I'll take the 2, I'll even take this 5 billion because there is a reason why it got to 5 billion. So you now bring them together and you now tell the client that, see, this project is costing, we're looking at, it could cost 1 point something, it could cost 2 billion, it could cost 5 billion. The client is that needs such information, especially when they need it for some level of management planning or some investment planning. They need such information because by the time you give them a forecasted figure and it fails, they have rubbished you, you have become nonsense. But when you do scenario planning, they can use such cost models for whatever it is they are planning, because for every variable in cost, there is a reason, especially when the characteristics of the buildings look alike, there is a reason. So by the time we give them the scenario plan, it will help clients to have more confidence in us that we know what we're doing, so that at least it is better that we give him a range and he even falls below the range. Oh, very good for us. If he falls within the range, fine. We don't want him to fall outside the range in front, beyond the range. We don't want. And that is why, with our professional skills, we're able to work and get such range. And that's what we call scenario planning. These are areas in risk management that quantity surveyors can measure in. A quantity surveyor can take a measure in risk management. It's an aspect of project management that you have in the PM book. So it's a very essential area that a quantity surveyor can measure in. It doesn't need you to be a foreigner to do it. It's something that we can do here as Nigerians. The next is collaborative platforms. This one is just cloud-based project management tool. We have what's it called? Tools that facilitate real-time collaboration and data. Like we're discussing the BIM, for instance. The BIM can fall in, we can become a platform for data sharing and facilitate real-time collaboration in carrying out events. So one becomes used to, just like we said earlier, become conversant with such tools that is used for it. Then we also have visual and augmented realities, just like visual realities. We're talking about realities where, if you've seen some persons who play some video games, there is something they wear in their face, that makes them look as if they are in the environment where that game is being played. That puts you, it's a reality, it's an imagination, reality that puts you into an environment you may not be, at the time, and it looks like you're walking in that environment. That's virtual reality. And augmented reality, maybe things like 3D, where you're working with virtual and in real life reality, things where you have your 3Ds, you create 3Ds animation where you can use that to navigate and may help the person to see if you're in this house, this is what it's going to look, this is where your car will park, this is where such information, such details, quantity surveyors can become good in such things, and they can be used in our practice as quantity surveyors. So these are areas of innovation we have now. The question I'm asking is, please, which of these areas have you become good in? Which of these areas do you have interest in? Where? Which one? Are you making effort to become good in them? Please, I will repeat again. The essence of this discussion is to let us see that time has overtaken the old practice, the traditional method of quantity surveying. Time has completely overtaken it. If we have not keyed into this new method of doing things, this is time for us to begin to run, to accept or take up any of these methods, because time will leave us behind if we continue with this old method of doing things. Let us open our hands like this and accept this new method of doing things, because that is where the future is. We'll become left out if we continue to become quantity surveyors of return, fill, and run. What are the benefits and the challenges associated with community collaboration? We have been discussing how the tools, modern trend, the new areas. Then, because when we are introducing this part, we also talked about community. It follows the first part of our discussion, where we would incorporate people from other professions, other persons, to be able to carry out a particular task. This is coming into collaboration with other people. When we do such collaborations, it has its own advantages. We share knowledge, people bring in knowledge, bring our own all experiences and expertise come to the table. It helps to produce good results. It also helps things to go faster. By the time we come up with new ideas, and those new ideas solve problems, use them very quickly. They also help us in professional development, and they help to create industry standardized way of doing things, best practice. Because by the time good heads come up and we're able to come out with the process of doing things, for instance, the concept of mediative conciliation in alternative dispute resolution it's just people where each dispute was going up and down, they tried this method, it wasn't work. Bam, it happened. Somebody thought of, maybe if I match this one and this one, it will work. And he tried it and it worked. That became the birth of mediative conciliation as a method in the alternative dispute resolution. What we're saying is that we can come up with best practice industrial standards by collaborating, forming a community of professionals when we're doing some job. But it also has its own challenges. Next slide. But it has its own challenges. These challenges span from quality control, where a lot of persons are bringing things. You need to sit down to check which one works, which one does not. If you accept everything, you may end up having rubbish at the end of the day. Then we have issues of intellectual property. Please, next slide. Intellectual property concerns, where if I bring out my work now, I don't know if they are going to use my work somewhere else without consulting me, as to what it should be. We also talk about time management, consensus building. When plenty people are taking a decision, it takes a lot of time for them to reach a conclusion because everybody wants to talk, everyone wants to talk. And before you know it, time is just going. And then we talk about consensus building, issue of consensus, because before you come to one agreement, everybody would have talked before you now begin to say, okay, this one works, this one works, which one do we accept? Before everybody will now come, okay, let us accept on one. That's a challenge itself for this community quantity surveying. Now, next slide. Let's look at the strategies for effective community engagement in quantity surveying. The first thing to do, if we want to talk about community, when we say community, we're referring to gathering people, various stakeholders, professionals to take a decision on a particular job. Now, we have the strategies for it to work. First of all, one wants to ask himself, why do I even want to do this thing? Why do I want to gather these people? What is it that I want to do? When one answers that question, one now begins to ask again, what is the output I'm envisaging? What am I planning to gain from these collaboration I'm trying to do? If you can answer that question, then you can then ask, which are there digital tools I need to do this thing? One looks at, okay, I'll need BIM, I'll need this one, I'll need that one. Okay, can I get this one? Then you can then gather people together. You need all it takes to gather them together. And then when you gather them together, you must have to do a thing to encourage them to be together, to do that thing. Sometimes people recognize when somebody has achieved something within the group, there's a need to, recognize the person as having achieved, to encourage people to participate effectively. And then you would also want to ensure that data is secure, no security data breach happens. Then you want to regularly evaluate the effectiveness of that collaboration. Over time, you want to check is this thing working at all? What have we achieved so far? And see if there is a need to continue with that. Next slide. Now, how do we implement innovative solutions in our various organizations? Implementing these solutions. The first is that, in fact, the summary of this slide is that, firstly, let us create a problem. Let us find a problem that we want to solve. When we find a problem that we want to solve, then we will now bring people together to ask for their knowledge, their idea, in trying to solve that problem. When they come together to solve that problem, we will now establish a knowledge base, kind of, where everybody's contribution goes in, into that. Now we should also give a management system where we're able to manage who gathers these people, who takes in information, who takes note of what is being said, who gathers this and who does that and who does that. These are things to do. Then by the time we gather people, we gathered all the information we need, we now try. Now begin to try. So let us even try. Remember when we discussed earlier, we said we can use small projects to pilot it, to check if we can do it. Now, when we try this pilot project, let's see if we can do it. If it works, maybe it will not work 100%. Maybe it works 50%. We can sit back again to discuss, okay, what do we now do? We fine tune it to see that it works until we make sure that it works. Next slide, please. Next. Next. Please go to emerging trends in quantity. Next. Thank you. So now we have discussed some of these things as areas. We have talked about artificial intelligence and machine learning. We've talked about blockchain technology, Internet of Things. What this means is it's just Internet of Objects, kind of. The things there, first is called object. But what it means is just having two physical objects, interfacing with each other, interacting with sensors or whatever, connecting. When you connect something to one object or another, to the internet or to another system, that two systems can interact and talk to each other or do so. You can stay here now and use your remote. I bought a stand. I bought a what's it called? A tripod stand for cameras. And that tripod stand has a remote. So if I use Bluetooth and connect it to I can use Bluetooth and connect my phone to it. So if I put a camera on that tripod stand, I use that remote to press and say capture. So if I want to start video or end videos or snap, I use just that remote to capture. Such things, there are things we need to, even though we may not have very direct application in quantity surveying, but in construction as a whole, it has a lot of application. It is good to become used to it. We'll discuss the BIM, 5D BIM. 5D BIM. What it means is BIM, generally, you have joints. We identify they are just joints, soft copy joints. Those joints, they have length, they have width, they have depth. That's 3D. Then, if those joints reflect time, if you're able to identify time, from that joint, if it reflects time, and then costs, if it reflects time, it has become 4D. If it reflects cost, it has become 5D. That's what it is. That's what 5D BIM is. And we need to get used to that. And then drone technology. Do you know that you can use drone? We have a project in Goa where I do. The project, we're doing a road. That road joins to the Atlantic Ocean at some point because they're doing what's it called? They want to construct a depot somewhere so that the vessels coming in from the sea goes to the depot to top petroleum. Now, there are some aspects of that site that we can't go to. Now, so what we use is we use drone. If we want to take some measurements, we use drone from where we are towards that direction to get measurements we have over those places that we can't access now until we get to those places because of construction. So you can use drone for measurement. You can use drone for such calculation of distances in quantity surveying practice. Quantity surveyors need to learn how to use drones, drone technology, and apply it in the way we work. Please, next slide. So there are case studies that's been done. This first case study is a BIM-enabled cost management project. It's a high-speed rail project where they used BIM, 5D BIM. It says that outcome, they had 15% reduction in overall project cost and improved accuracy in quantity. Quantity surveyors came together and they adopted a database, a continuously updated database of what it is. And at the end of the day, they did not, in fact, they achieved a reduction in cost of doing things. This is the next slide. Phase two, a blockchain, where a mixed-use urban development done, where they implemented a blockchain technology. They said that they had improved trust among the shareholders, and that project payment in it was faster by 30% more than what it should be. What did quantity surveyors do? They adopted the blockchain technology, where in real time, as the quantity surveyor is preparing the cost, the certificate of payment, the contractor is saying, the consultant is saying. It's not a situation where the quantity surveyor will finish and he will now take to the consultant will now take to the client before the client will approve for contractor to come and now sign. No, it is not that everybody is seeing as it was going on. And because of that, the contractor didn't have any issue of trust. They were seeing as the calculations, things were going down. The joint valuations they did, they were all captured and you could see it in real time. So the time was, the contractor didn't need to wait until the certificate comes out before he continues his job. He already has seen that the certificate is being processed. So he's working because he knows his money is coming very soon. So no need to wait. And there is trust. There was trust in among the persons who carried out the project. Next slide, please. Then the next one is where they adopted artificial intelligence for a development program in a country where they used AI for what's it called? For estimation. What it achieved is that they had accurate contingency planning and 20% reduction in cost overrun. because they used computer, they used AI, artificial intelligence to do pattern recognition and forecast of their cost. They were able to come down that the contingency that they provided for such a job was so accurate and not over exaggerated, and they had reduction up to 20% reduction in cost overall. These are real life projects. They are not stories. They are real life projects where quantity surveyors have applied these things somewhere else. So why, if they are if they did this in some other countries, then the question is, why can't we do it here in Nigeria? Why? What is the big deal? Is it that we don't understand artificial intelligence or what? We can do it, and that's the essence of this discussion. Please, next slide. Now, these are some softwares that we can leverage on. Some of these softwares, the stack, the estimate, the e-takeoff dimension, the catalyst K, and the blue beam. In fact, let me take you to the blue beam. I'll tell you what that software does. It's actually an interesting software. It says that the blue beam review, while primarily a PDF markup tool, offers powerful takeoff capabilities that many quantity surveyors find useful. It is ideal for quantity surveyors working extensively with PDF plans and needing advanced markup capabilities along takeoff tool. So for a lot of us who do not know how to use cards or some of these design softwares, if you have PDF, that software itself can help you to do it and help you to extract your quantities and get what you need without you bugging your head. So the catalyst K, the e-takeoff dimension, these are estimating softwares. They also do takeoff, for those who use them. So it will be important that's why the websites where you can go and search these are here. You can go and search these websites to look for some of these softwares to see if it's what you can afford to acquire these softwares and learn how they are used. This next slide. All right. So in implementing innovation and practice, if we're implementing to help us appreciate how to implement these things we have discussed, first of all, we want to look at our current practice, the things we do, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, where do we have opportunities, and all that. Let's look at that and then identify areas where we need to make change. So let's look at what we have. Let's identify where we need to upgrade, where we need to upscale. Now, when we identify these areas, we now set goals of what we want to achieve, want to do. So this is the area I need improvement. Okay, this is exactly what I want to achieve. Then you begin to do some research. You get the things you need to grow that area of your practice. Next slide. Now, when we have done that, been able to get out, then we now talk about engaging other persons. So we will now look at how to get other persons, other professionals to work with us in achieving the goal that we want to achieve. Then, when we have gotten people to work with us, then we can now set up a pilot project, a trial project to see what we can do. With the information we've gathered, with the people we have, we can then get into a project and see how far we can go in carrying out, implementing this new way of doing things. Then, after you do, you now come back to check how have I done. Then you can come back to scale. You by the time you have integrated your old method with the new one, you can come back to come and check. There are areas I need to expand. There are areas I need to do more. The group, when you have captured those areas, we and your group can do more to improve those areas and grow. The next thing we're looking at is ethical considerations in innovative quantity. In everything we do, ethics is there. Talk about data privacy and security. We want to uphold the privacy of data and the security of data. We don't want to in any way go against such laws because they have consequences, both to us as individuals and to the project we're going to do. And we also want to be respectful of people's intellectual property. We don't want to, because they have let out information to us, now use it to go and do something else. No, we don't want to do that. That's ethically wrong. And then we want to be professionally responsible when working with other people, and we want to include everybody and be fair. We don't want a situation where we have other people, we neglect them and say, this person is not useful. We don't want to do that. We want to take everybody along as we are doing what we're doing. Next slide, please. Now, what does the future hold? As we are looking into the future as quantity surveyors, who are we seeing? We are seeing data scientists. We're seeing sustainability experts. We're seeing experts who are good in digital collaborations. We're seeing innovation strategists as we go. Quantity surveyors, these areas are areas after this training, we're looking forward to see you. We want to see you become data analysts. We want to see you become sustainability experts. We want to see you become experts in digital collaboration, using any form of digital platform in our work. Collaborate with other people in the world of digital technology in carrying out our work. We want to see quantity surveyors who are top-notch in implementing strategies of new innovations. This is where we're looking forward to. This is what we want to see in the future. So in conclusion, quantity surveyors here today, innovation is the way forward. Community collaboration is the way forward. If we want to be efficient, if we want to be very accurate, reliable in what we do, if we want to increase the value we give to clients, this is where we are now. This is where we are in 2024. Let us leave the ancients behind. Let us leave the old way of doing things. A lot of us are looking for jobs to do today because we are stuck in the old way of doing things. A lot of us do not have, a lot of us are bored with quantity surveying practice today because we are stuck in the old way of doing things. Let us leave this old way. A lot of us today, quantity surveyors are timid today because we are stuck in the traditional old way of doing things. Let us join the world where the world is. Quantity surveying is diverse. In fact, in the construction industry, we are the most fortunate, we are the most favored in the industry because we have a practice that is diversible, that can go whatever while to achieve whatever it is. That is the profession we belong to. So why we will now belong to this profession and now let this opportunity at our hands and we're everywhere looking for who give us jobs without these opportunities? No, we've gone beyond that. May we today remember and reflect on what the current practice is all over the world. Let us become quantity surveyors that can compete with any quantity surveyor anywhere in the world to be able to deliver projects. Let us fit into any project that comes. We don't want to be those quantity surveyors who are left behind doing job just in the traditional way of doing things. No, let us be quantity surveyors who do things with technology and as things are going on in the world today. Thank you very much. I come to the end of this discussion. Jamil, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, QSC Hang. This has been a very insightful session. Man, my mind is blown. I have learned so much. No parts are actually full right now. QS Jamila, go ahead, please.
Yes, I must say that was a fantastic session. I mean, like, I'm sitting here and I'm already looking at myself as a sustainability expert. Because, I mean, Kesifying is saying that that's the future outlook. I know. I mean, I'm saying I am a data scientist. I'm like, yes, that's where I want to be in the future. Amazing, amazing, amazing work. Thank you so much. To all the participants that asked questions, hello. I hope you see that you were running before walking. QS had come prepared. He had answered all the questions that you had asked. You were asking for where you can tap in. He gave you so many. In fact, off the top of my head, I can pick like 5. And I'm sure if you were taking notes, you probably have taken a lot more. You were asking for what you can do, how you can gather data. He has answered that. And so many other things. QS thank you. I mean, today, as I'm speaking with you now, that's it. I don't have, what's my business with Instagram and Facebooking? Okay, well, maybe just to get a few minutes of distraction. I am going to go and study because the train cannot leave me behind. What? imagine just coming up and introducing myself as QS Jamila. I'm a sustainability specialist. I'm a this, that. Please, there's money on the floor everywhere. We're always complaining that there's not enough money or there are no jobs, but the jobs are out there. Innovation trends are out there. But unfortunately, for a lot of us, we're sleeping behind, we're lagging behind. And the people that are abreast with technology and these innovative trends are taking on the jobs and, making waves of it. So what are we doing? How are we researching on all these new trends that are available? How prepared are we to take over? How prepared are we to tap in? How prepared are we to give our clients more value for money? We always say that we're prepared and our course is very versatile and it gives us the opportunity to learn a lot and to be able to do a lot in different sectors. Well, here you have it, the different innovative sectors, the different innovative ideas or innovative trends that are in the profession and how we can tap into it. Because CJ has done an amazing work in breaking this down, and I do not want anyone of us on this call to be left behind. I cannot say that I am a specialist yet in trying to do justice and do the recap of what Ifeanyi has delivered, but I will try my best. And because I'm not a specialist yet, in areas that I can break down in a few seconds, I'll maybe just drop the headings and skip it so that the experts in the room can do justice to it further when questions are asked. But Ifeanyi, fantastic work there. Thank you so much for the effort that you put in. In this second session, you went into, you took a deeper dive into the innovative trends in the construction industry, in quantity surveying at large. And you told us about the different areas that surveyors can branch into. So the thing is, there's the trend in quantity surveying, and then there's also the improved skill set that as general quantity surveyors, you should have to be able to work faster or work at the same level as the new trends are, providing. Am I correct? Because I know you spoke about having skills, the skill set, yes, and then you also spoke about specialization. So it's a lot, but it's not a lot if you break it down and understand the steps to follow in achieving it. So thank you very much. Just a quick recap on what we discussed. It's not going to be very extensive, but it's just going to pick out the keywords so that we can all refresh our memory on what was just discussed. I'm curious if Ifeanyi was able to take us on the open innovations that are out there for quantity surveyors and quantity surveying, where he talked about digital technologies, the BIM, which everybody has been hearing BIM, but a lot of us, which we're very guilty of this, we do not ask questions, and you just want to follow the trend and say, oh, is it not BIM? Somebody will not know that BIM is just a platform for a group of people to come together. So I'm thinking, BIM, that's just like a plant Swift, right? That's it. You do not know, and you do not want to ask. Not knowing that when you ask, it's easy, and a lot of people are out there ready and available to answer your questions and give you more insights. So sorry to digress a bit on that. You spoke to us about BIM being a platform, a trending platform now that different professionals can work on projects at the same time from different locations. You talked about artificial intelligence. You talked about data analysis, and then you talked about collation of data, which you can also, create a business from, because as we all know, quant surveying is highly data driven, and a lot of professionals out there, depending on whichever project you're being, brought in to work on, you need data. You need data from the drawings, you need data from the costing, you need data from the different prices of materials in the market from a certain period to a certain period, especially with the interesting project or the interesting case that you've been asked to handle, where you're going to have to scout for data from different years or different periods that have gone past to be an expert witness. So imagine if, as a quantity surveyor, you have a cost data bank since you started practice, let's say from like 2010 to now. That is a gold mine that you're sitting on. Some people would pay premium. Some people that are working on apps or softwares would pay premium to tap into that just to have data to make their apps or softwares more applicable or more efficient. So those are the things that quant surveyors can branch into. You also talked about the sustainable practices that quant surveyors can also dive into, where we discussed life cycle costing. Life cycle costing is a new and innovative trend that quant surveyors can also participate in and excel well in. We talked about green building certification expertise. The world is going green. So many, a lot of organizations are looking for ways to reduce the carbon emissions and all that in the atmosphere. And imagine, and I mean, a lot of things that destroy the atmosphere or the ozone layer, one of the major activities is construction. So imagine you coming out as a construction expert, a cost expert, and also a green building expert. I mean, that is so many things in one person that is too tantalizing for somebody to just say no with. So yes, that's an area that quant surveyors can, branch into and create sort of a niche for themselves in. You talked about risk management. Quant surveyors, we say that we do a lot of feasibility studies. One area that we can talk about, or one area that we can become experts in, is risk management, because we are always advising clients on costing, areas that we can reduce costs, areas that we can increase outputs and all that. So imagine if, you tap into the innovative trends now and say, okay, you're able to use the data that you have available to provide probabilistic cost estimations. That would take out a lot of assumptions and a lot of contingencies that we put that we do not know, because the data available with the innovative trends available are able to dissect this and give you more accurate data to work with and provide more accurate estimates for that. So also about scenario planning, where we develop multi-cost models based on different project variables. So based on the existing data of projects that have been executed in the same space or in the same field concerning what you're working with, you can apply similar scenarios to what you're doing at the moment, and you will get almost the same results. So that is a place that you can become experts in. Just about the collaborative platforms as well, cloud-based project management tools, just like the BIM that we discussed before. He also went ahead to talk about to give us strategies for effective community management, that while we're doing tapping into the existing trends, a good way we can be better at this is joining communities or creating communities from the little groups that we join and form in the course of learning. Good way for community management: establish clear goals and guidelines, utilize digital platforms to better our intellect, implement governance structures, encourage wins so that more people can participate and are available and willing to share knowledge. We went ahead to discuss different ways that we can implement innovative solutions. We talked about emerging trends in the quantity surveying profession, where artificial intelligence and machine learning was discussed. We all know that artificial intelligence now is the new, permit me to say, is the new gold. This can be applied as well to quantity surveying. So what are we waiting for? Why aren't we tapping into that? Talked about blockchain technology, where a client or a contractor, for instance, is more comfortable or is reassured that his payment is being processed, knowing that his valuation has already been raised and signed and currently being processed, because blockchain technology allows all the stakeholders involved to see documents or to see real-time work that is being done by all the stakeholders. So if a quantity surveyor is able to raise a valuation for a contractor, and the contractor has been notified that yes, the valuation has been raised and it's being processed for payment, he's reassured that, oh, I can continue working and there's no need to stop on a project because, oh, the client may not pay me and all that. That cuts down different waste time that we have on construction, delayed time or lag periods that we have on construction projects. I talked about 5D BIM. I was particularly excited to hear that because if I were to be honest, that's the first time I'm actually hearing about 5D BIM, which is separate from the 3D BIM, which talks about the architectural sections, and then the 5D BIM talks about costing, if I'm not mistaken. I'm curious if I will be asking you questions on that because I really want to understand that aspect more. Then drone technology, you can be wherever you are, and with a drone, go to ridiculous places and take measurements that you would need to plan for a project, an ongoing project. So if you take particular interest in that aspect, there's a lot of money to make with the existing drone technology that is being used in the different sectors. So you went ahead to give us case studies where all of these different trends are being used and how in different ways and in different capacities, the different trends that are being implemented in projects are able to improve accuracy, improve efficiency, cut down on costs, and improve customer satisfaction. So yes, Kefifayi went ahead to also not just tell us about the trends, he went ahead to give us different softwares that we can use or different softwares that we can start familiarizing ourselves with that are currently being used out there by quantity surveyors to make their work more efficient, make their work faster, make their work more seamless. A few of those examples of software that he gave us are free. And I'm sure we would be sharing the websites again because I'm very certain that participants are also very key in getting that aspect. But just 2 out of the softwares that we talked about was Stack, the Estimates, the Blu-ray, which if you become familiar with, or when you do, I would say you're one leg into the trend, into adopting and using the new trends in the quantity surveying field. We cannot talk about any profession without talking about ethics. Kefifayi went on to talk about the ethical considerations that the quantity surveyors are expected to put or have at the back of their mind when adopting these innovative strategies. Recall we talked about one of the threats or one of the weaknesses of innovative strategies whereby your data is exposed because a lot of people are working on projects or assignments all at the same time. So your data is exposed. So one of the ethical considerations is while you're working on data, when you're working on projects using one of the innovative trends, you should be mindful of data privacy. Make sure that information that is being sent has all the authorizations and has all the approvals to go out so that you're not infringing on anybody's privacy, you're not infringing on anybody's intellectual property, you're not infringing on anybody's intellectual capacity as well. You should also introduce or encourage inclusivity and fairness because regardless of the group efforts that is being pushed or the group work and teamwork that is being pushed in today's trend, it's important to give accolades to who accolades are due. So let's not forget that while we're adopting the innovative trends in the quantity surveying field. He gave us a glimpse into what the future of quantity surveying is, which, ladies and gentlemen, is now. It's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow, it is now. We talk about trending quantity surveying trends or innovative trends as if, by tomorrow or by next year, they will be relevant. But if you have seen, or if you recall the case studies that were discussed here, you would see that other countries, the Europe, Singapore, the different, continents are already adopting these trends and they're already making waves with it. So when we say the future is now, where as a quantity surveyor, you can also become a data science hybrid. You can also become a sustainability specialist. which I'm particularly interested in. See, I'm already taking my expertise. I would advise that participants here better tap into this, because when we're counting dollars and pounds tomorrow, I would say QS Ifeanyi, QS Chijuke, QS Oile, all of them had told us, but you forgot to tap into it. So don't be left hanging. Don't snooze on this. It'll be nice to key into this free information that the NIQS Foundation, together with the Audrey Fund, have put together to make this possible. Talks about the digital collaboration facilitator. You can be an expert in that field. You can also become an innovation strategist, amongst so many others. Because Ifeanyi went ahead to conclude his session by giving us some very, very interesting punchlines. Innovation is the way forward. Community collaboration is also the way forward. We need to increase the value that we give to clients, reflect on the current practices, engage with professionals from different spheres, and see how we can all collaborate and work together using the current innovative trends and give our clients more and better value for the money that they spend. Because at the end of the day, once you're able to prove how valuable you are to a person or an organization, that's all that they need to keep you and to continue using your services. So, Ifeanyi, once again, I would say thank you for that fantastic presentation. We will open the floor now for questions. Yes.
Okay, QS Jamila, just 1 minute, please. Sorry, before we go into the Q&A.
Yes.
QS Ifeanyi, you have actually done due justice to this particular topic. And hats off for you. I wish I actually had a hat. I could actually do that. Hats off for you. And ladies and gentlemen, distinguished quantity surveyors, I just want to tell you this. This program, partly funded by Aubrey Baker Fund UK, Open Innovation and Quantity Surveying Perspective, it puts you above the curve in your field, because everything you're acquiring for free, trust me, you may not understand the value now, but tomorrow you will understand, because you're saying, okay, there are no jobs available, and we've just given you avenues through which profitable employment can be created through your projects, through your communities, through acquiring new skills. Open innovation is the way to go. And like QS Ifeanyi said, gone are the days when we stick to our old ways of quantifying things in the built environment. Let's innovate, let's evolve. The world has evolved with the case studies he showed us and what Jamila has said. The world has evolved. Why don't we evolve with these things? Yes, this is a pilot starting from the quantity surveying perspective. The next way to go is to drive this information to the rest of the built environment. But as quantity surveyors, you guys are the foundation of the built environment. Maybe you guys, I'm sorry, but I think some of you understand this. You guys are the bedrock upon which everything being built exists. Without you guys, nothing will function. This is the way to go. Innovate, adopt open innovation, talk to your peers, educate your friends, educate every project you're getting into, let them adopt these policies and make the world a better place for all, using the built environment as a platform. QS Jamila, thank you so much for giving me this contribution. You have the floor, please.
Absolutely. I totally agree with everything that you've said. Audrey Baker Foundation has done an amazing work in partnering with the NIQS Foundation to give us, I would like to call it a sneak peek. You know how like in school or when you're in class and they tell you you've got exams in 2 weeks, and then the next day, the teacher is giving you literal answers to the questions that are going to be asked in 2 weeks. That is what this session has just done. This session has pretty much broken down the future of quantity surveying, the future of the built environment, the future of construction projects, the future of how, construction, professional practice, quantity surveying is going to be existing. So what better way do you want the future to be handed over to you on a platter of gold than what we're doing now? So ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to go back regurgitate all that has been discussed here and digest this, because this is the answer sheet to what the future holds for us. And if we're able to digest it now, then I don't think we will be talking about becoming financial independent tomorrow, because we are already financially independent with all that is being discussed here. We only just need to go out there, study what's going on, study the trends, become specialists in one of them, and just wait for the money to come through. So once again, a big thank you to the NIQS Foundation for doing this. A big thank you to the Audrey Baker Fund for making this possible. I see some hands are already being raised, and I'm really excited that we still have everyone on board to ask all the questions that have been disturbing us or making us uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, these dollars and pounds need to be made. The money needs to be made. So I'm going to leave the floor open to the participants now. Please go ahead, Ibrahim Ndayebo, QS Ibrahim Ndayebo, unmute yourself and ask your question so that the experts in the house can answer. Thank you. QS Ibrahim, you have the floor.
Hello, QS. Okay, you can hear us, QS Ibrahim.
Yes, sir. What I have is not a question, but a confession. The session was
but
fantastic.
A what? Okay.
A confession.
A confession, right? Okay.
The session was fantastic and has truly changed my perception, making me realize that I have so much more to learn. Previously, most quantity surveyors believe that mastering preparation of bill, material and labor schedule, project cost control were the core skills needed in our profession. However, this class has shown us that while these areas are fundamental in quantity surveying, there is much more we need to understand and embrace if we really want to remain relevant to the construction industry. The insights on open innovation, that is the insights on open innovation in quantity surveying came at the perfect time and will undoubtedly benefit most QS who are open to change. What cannot fully express our gratitude to the NIKSF, the ABE for the tremendous effort put into providing us with valuable knowledge of it. On behalf of all the participants, I would like to say we are truly grateful. Thank you for this. And we'll remain
thank you.
Appreciative. Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that appreciation, QS Ibrahim. I'm sure that the NIQS Foundation is very excited that the theme or the reason for this program is the impact is being felt even before we leave the call, which is what we would like to do. And we would like the gospel to be preached on continuously, not just for you now, share it across to everyone that you know, share it across to your different colleagues so that they know that they shouldn't sleep on this. There's so much more that can be done. So this is not the time to complain. This is the time to do. This is the time to move and make impact. We have another question from the participants. Kios Aliyu Abubakar, please unmute yourself. Kios Ibrahim, you can mute yourself now so that the other participants can ask their question.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to sincerely show my appreciation to the NIQS Foundation and then the sponsors of this training workshop. I must say that I have never understood the concept of BEAM like I did today. I have now a very clear understanding of what BEAM is all about. Not only BEAM, but also the 5D BEAM. I must say that before this time, I have conjectures in my head, trying to understand what precisely it is. But after today's lectures, I am very clear on it and I will pursue it further. I will undergo more advanced training to see how I can use the BIM. It's truly very educative. I have benefited immensely. Please keep up with such training workshops on modern trends and innovations, so that those of us who are coming up as quantity surveyors will be able to keep with developments in the digital landscape. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. God bless.
You're welcome. QS Ali Abubakar, thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate the fact that you have learned so much, and we encourage you to take the next step and continue your career and progress. Thank you so much.
I will. Thank you.
QS Ifeanyi, do you have anything to say to him?
Not really. Maybe later on. Maybe later on.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I can see. Yes, I can see everyone is mind blown, which is the exact adjective that I would describe how I'm feeling right now. So maybe we should ask all our questions, and then so that everybody's attention span, which is very, very, top notch at the moment, will be able to grab all that is being discussed. Then we can save the appreciations for the end of the class. I don't know, am I speaking our minds, Mr. Uzo? So that QS, if I can put everything together and give a closing remark. But we appreciate the fact that the impact is being felt, and we're very grateful for you even being here and listening to what is discussed. So I have QS Ofunime Okum. I know you're mind blown by the session, but just let's keep it simple and go straight to the question so that we can have as many questions answered in this period that we have. Thank you. Kes Ofonime, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Good day, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Afternoon. Yes. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Good day, everyone. Mine is not really a question. I think a question and then appreciation. I just want to say thank you to the foundation, and sorry, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just happy. Like, this has given me clarity. I think I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, QS Ifeanyi. Thank you, QS Tina. Thank you, Rebecca Foundation, QS Dimede, everyone on the call. I just want to appreciate us. Thank you so much. Then my question, very quickly, I think it's from our first, the first slide. That was the first presentation. It's on crowdsourcing. Sir, you said something about crowdsourcing, bringing in the engineer, the technician, the plumber. In fact, just going down to the detail, everybody involved in the project. Now, for some of our clients now, some of them just want you to do their estimate and deliver. How do you crowdsource for such projects where you don't really have, or do you request for that information? Do you tell your clients, okay, for this job I'm about to do for you, can I get the contact of your plumber? Can I get the contact of your electrician? If it's my personal project, yes, I will. And then maybe someone I know closely. But what of for projects where maybe I just called as a quantity surveyor to come and estimate? Please, how do you go about crowdsourcing for such projects so that you get a well-detailed and accurate estimate? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, QS Ofunime. We're still at the question and answer session, but while we're collating all of that, maybe QS Ifeanyi, you would want to answer that while we wait for the other questions to materialize.
Okay. Okay. So, Fonime, the answer to your question is straight. You see, if you can't assess these persons those, I'm sure you're referring to when I say those that design the project. If you can't assess those that design the project, get other professionals, the professionals from outside whom you know, who are good in the business and let them assist you in the thing. If you cannot see the electrical engineer who designed it, look for another electrical engineer. If you can't get the plumber who's going to work on the job, get a plumber who is good to advise you on. Let's discuss, bring the thing, the drawing, discuss if it's a project ongoing, take the person to that place and let him give you his assessment of what it is. So if you can't get their own, if you can't get the one from the project, get yours. You should know some of these people and let them advise you on what it should be. The important thing is that you crowdsource, that you don't alone go to seek or get this information just yourself the way you do it. Get people doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, QS. If I hope that answers your question. It's not enough that we studied these different areas in school. It's important to also have the input of the professionals on the job, because what you may think you know may have been improved upon. So it's important that you have the input of the different professionals. You're not just building your network. As a professional, they say you are as strong as your network, or you are as rich as your network. So not just building a network of quantity surveyors, you're expected to expand your network across the built environment, so that when you're talking about oil and gas, you have somebody there. When you're talking about mechanical engineering, you have somebody there. We're talking about electrical engineering and so many other fields, so that in your own tiny space, you have somebody or a specialist in that field that you can always pick up a phone call and say, oh, guy, I need some clarity on XYZ. So a lot of times some clients may not expose you to the consultant, not even because they do not want to, but they probably don't even have the contact anymore. Probably the consultant has built the drawing or designed the drawing, and they've, let the person go, and the person has moved on to another project. So you have been saddled with the responsibility to cost it. You do not say, oh no, I did an M&E in school, so I don't need the input of an engineer. No. The same way innovative trends are being discussed in quantity surveying, it's the same way innovation is happening in engineering, in architecture, in urban and regional planning, which you may not be aware of. So it's important to always seek the input of different professionals when you're working on a project, to have the most recent information that you would need to put in your estimates. Thank you. We have QS Aliyu Usman Kotu as a participant who has a question to ask. QS Aliyu, thank you for joining us. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, QS
Aliyu. QS Aliyu.
Yes, I has one question to ask our every QS Ifeanyi. Before that, thank you very much for the wonderful session. It was very, very insightful. In fact, I've learned many things from these sessions you have taught us. My question goes this way. When you are talking about data analytics, you made mention of you being commissioned as one of maybe QS to find out what contractor has submitted. Maybe for his final clients, it's so exorbitant that the client is so doubt about the contractors. So my question goes this way, because such kind of this kind of clients sometimes it take a longer time before they realizes that it's either it's the claims from the contractor is realistic or not realistic. If it was found out that the claims from the contractor is very realistic, at that time that they were doing analysis, who pay for because sometimes a call session like this, it take a longer time, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months before everything being found out. After they finalized everything, it was found that the contractor was very accurate in all his claim and submission. Along this gap, there are a lot of things that goes on along this gap. Who pay for those damages, or who pay for those claims? Is it the client or the contractor who just be as it is? So these are my questions, sir. I don't know if you get me right.
Yes, QS Kutu, I got your point. You see, before parties go into a project, they sign a contract, and that contract says that each party will submit to an arbitration tribunal should they have dispute. And one of the things that is agreed on is that whatever expenses that will be made will be shared by both parties. See, when two people are disputing over something, one is saying, no, it's this way, one is saying, no, it's this way. One of them must be correct, or both of them are wrong. Now, it's either case. So if they are calling an expert to come and determine what is right, there is like one of them is expecting to be correct. And so what you're doing is you are paying to say, you will see that what I have done is the correct thing since you're disputing what I'm saying. So in essence, both parties will pay for the services of the expert who has been called to ascertain. It doesn't matter since the man is doing what is right. The arbitration tribunal will award at the end of the day if there are damages that the contractor has incurred. The contractor will tell the tribunal because of this, this thing, this is this, and the tribunal will look at it and award at the end of the day, to him if there's anything. But for the service of the professional, both of them will pay for it. The tribunal will decide later on. The arbitrators will decide later what happens to claims and what have you other expenses that each party incurred they shouldn't have incurred.
So yes, there you have it from our construction arbitration expert, QS Aliyu. I hope that answers your question. There's usually an agreement signed by both parties, and it's very explicit how disagreements are to be resolved. So all that will be tabled, and where there's a need for a conflict resolution, that would be followed to the T. Thank you, QS Ifeanyi, for that beautiful response to the question. We have QS Ruben Teshi Foley. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Well, thank you for this session. It was wonderful and very blessed. I'm a young QS coming up and looking at the entire innovation is very costly. Yes. Now my question is, how do we, as young QS coming up, have access to this and make good use of it as time goes on, since it's kickstarting? So how do we have access to practicalize aspects of this very innovation that is on board for us coming up? I'm processing my probation to be registered QS, and it's not as easy as it is. And I'm praying to, at the end of the day, acquire the membership to be registered. So my entire question is, how do we young QS at the end of the day have the benefit of all these new innovations? That's my question.
Because Ruben, let me just use a personal experience to answer that question. I was earning 70,000 naira some time ago, and I was going for a training, and that training cost 9,000. And then I was just newly married. You know what I did? I paid 69,000 out of my 70,000 naira salary for that training, and I had just 1,000 left. The God that saved me that period was that I had some personal things that I did. They had to give me, that helped my wife and I to sustain for some time then. So my answer to your question is, a lot of times, self-development, you need to bleed to it. You need to make extra sacrifice to develop yourself. Thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely. That is just the right answer to that question, QS Ruben. We hear you. We hear the struggles that you've slowly snuck into your question. However, self-development is key. It's something that if you want to excel in whatever it is that you do, you cannot escape it. And self-development comes with a lot of sacrifice. People are out there paying ridiculous amounts of money to improve themselves. So in your own capacity, what can you do to add value to yourself? As a probational member, as a fresh graduate, what are you able to do? If you were paying attention during the discussion, some free resources were displayed, websites that you can download, platforms or softwares that can assist you in estimating. Not even that, even just going on the internet that is free and reading up on these innovative trends instead of spending time on different social media outlets, amongst others. It is self-development. You do not have to pay exorbitant fees to buy expensive softwares, amongst others. As simple as reading and getting yourself up to date to the different trends in the construction industry, that is self-development. And who knows, in reading and researching that you're doing, which is free on the internet, because I want to believe that quite a number of us have access to the internet, if not all of us, you are able to stumble upon so many other free resources. So self-development in your own little capacity. And in so doing, different opportunities can open up for you. So thank you very much for that question. And thank you, Classifying, for pointing us to that direction of self-development. And also the DG of NIQS Foundation as well. She also mentioned that, yes, indeed, self-development is key, and it's advised that in our different capacities, in our different fields of expertise and areas that we're practicing from, it's important that we imbibe that culture. We're never too old to stop learning. Learning continues even till we're old and gray. So we have QS Kupolui Damilola. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. QS Kupolui, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Unless you're not aware that you're raising your hand. Probably struggling with the network because I see you're unmuting and QS Kupolui, no?
Hey, Damilola, can you hear us?
No. It's probably a network glitch on her
Okay,
end.
QS Jamila, while she's sorting out her network, I believe you said you had a question earlier.
Yes, I do.
Remember that?
I do. I've actually got two questions.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I talk a lot. Yes, it's fine. And like they say, there's no harm in asking questions. So fine, please indulge me. So I wanted you to please throw more light on the 5D that you talked about. I didn't quite catch what the explanation was in that aspect. And I also want you to throw more light as well on digital collaboration facilitator. That was one of the future outlooks for quantity surveying, but it's not very explicit, and I'm struggling to tie it into all that we've discussed in relation to what the future holds for quantity surveying. So if you could throw more light on that as well, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, let me start with the 5D. You know, 5D in BIM, that's 5 dimensions. Ordinarily, drawings have length and breadth, that's 2 dimensions. It has now depth, which is C3D, that's 3D. Then for BIM, when they design that 3D dimension thing you see is able to reflect timing. Let me, I have used an example where I said that maybe a facility is being constructed already and there is a need to add something to it or adjust any part of it. Now, when that part of it is adjusted, note that prior to this time when this adjustment is done, maybe the cost of that facility may have been done already before that time and at a particular time. When you are doing any other amendments to that design, as it were, it is important to reflect the time when that is being done. The essence is that the person who is going to cost at the end of the day needs to know, because it wouldn't be the same basis indices considered while costing the other part of the buildings that will be considered while costing this later part that has been added. Probably at this time, materials that will be needed may not cost as much as, will not be the same as when you did the initial one. Certain other considerations, maybe if the building has parts that may need to be changed. Let's say, for instance, there are solar panels in the structure, and solar panels have been installed in the previous ones, and a new side is being installed, and solar panel is installed. By the time you are doing life cycle cost of that building, the maintenance of that, by the time you are, the maintenance for this later part will not be at the same time as when you are maintaining the first part, because if they have been installed 1 year before this one is installed, and maybe there are batteries that will take 5 years before they go off, and those ones have stayed 1 year before you install this one. So by the time you change those ones, this one will still have 1 year before you change it. So such information is needed, because over time, those who will make use of that building will need to such information of time. So by the time such time detail is added to that 3D design, you already have a 4D information, a 4D beam, beam. And now, by the time there is a cost attached to this extra one, and cost attached to the entire thing that is being constructed. So anybody looking at it, you're not just seeing the building design, you're also seeing, oh, this building, this is the time frame it took for the design, this is the time frame it's taking, the construction is going on. And you're able to tell, oh, this is even the cost of this part, even if there's any parts that will be maintained, at any point in time, you're able to tell, oh, this is the cost. And that cost information is also being seen on that 3D design that is there attached to it. It has become a 5D beam. So a document you are looking at, one is able to interpret length and breadth and depth from it. You're also interpreting time. You're also interpreting cost from it. Maybe there could be 6D, 7D, 10D any day. By the time some other kind of information is reflected on that same drawing that people can take note of. That is the explanation to that. Then again, the other one you asked is about
digital collaboration facilitator.
Facilitator. It's just to be a facilitator of digital collaboration. So in other words, you'll be a facilitator for maybe for trainings, maybe for encouraging people, whatever in any way you facilitate, people to become that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. It sounded a bit sophisticated, so I was like, okay, this is something new. What exactly is this? But yes, thank you for that clarity. We have 2 hands up. Ms. QS Popoloi Damilola, are you ready now with your question? You can unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
QS Popoloi Damilola.
I want to believe maybe that's a glitch, so we'll just skip and move on to QS Anthony Uwewi. QS Anthony, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. We've got room for 2 more questions and we would be wrapping up. So
QS Uwewi, Anthony.
No.
QS Uwewi, Anthony, kindly unmute your microphone, please.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone.
Okay, fantastic. Good morning, QS Anthony.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And thank you, QS Ifeanyi, for the wonderful webinar presentation. But by the way, I think I just want to make a contribution rather than questioning. I don't know if it's time for that.
That's fine. You can make your contribution. Just make it brief so that the last person can have the question answered.
Okay, just give me 2 minutes. My contribution is on the 5D beam and 3D beam. QS Ifeanyi did a good job in the explanation. but also I want to add more knowledge to what he has said. 5D beam, he had already said 2D beam to 3D beam is addition of depth to your drawings. Then when you talk about 4D beams, remember as QS or as construction professionals, we have programs of work. I don't know if you are following.
Yes, we can hear you.
At every construction project, there is programs of works attached to each project, saying that the project is starting on the 1st of February and is ending on the 1st of December. Now, BIM has made it so possible that you can integrate your timing of your project to each element, which means that you can integrate the time frame for your foundation or the time it takes you to do your foundational work. So you don't have a drawing separate and have your programs of work separate. Now with 4D beam, you can now have your drawings, which is your construction work or your model, and have your time frame. So at each point in time, you can click on the roof, and the information you see on the roof, it contains the cost of the roof and the time it will take to do the roof. Okay, this roof will be done between the 1st of July to the 5th of July. I don't know if you're getting it. That is what BIM has helped us to improve when it comes to constructional works. If you're doing a BIM drawing, and then also you can also achieve that with a Navisworks software. So I don't know. That is just an additional information to those who does not understand 5D BIM. So therefore, you don't, at that point in time, you don't need somebody else preparing a program of work from somewhere else. Within the same software, you have your drawings, you have your time. That means each time it will take to get to that particular phase of work. And you also have a time, what they call a cost attached to each phase of work. And that's just the little I said. Let me add to that explanation to broaden our knowledge on 5D BIM. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity, though.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that contribution. We appreciate the inputs and the insights into what 5D and 4D BIM is all about, or what it refers to. We have one more question from QS Daniel Etin. We'll be taking that last question for today, and then we will round up the Q&A sessions. QS Daniel Etin, you have the floor.
QS Daniel, kindly unmute yourself, please. QS Daniel. QS Daniel, are you still with us? Okay, I think that was a glitch in transmission. My DG, would you like to say anything to the participants?
Nothing. I'm just blown. Listening to Ifeanyi and all the contributions. Jamila doing justice as usual, and your awesome self being on top of the game. I just want everybody to tune in tomorrow. Don't miss the opportunity to listen to our last speaker. Tomorrow is going to be an icing on the cake. So
Absolutely.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for believing in the NIQS Foundation, because it takes a lot to believe in a crawling baby. So we appreciate everyone present, all the board members here present, all our panelists, the trainers, the moderators. We thank you. The young QS, the old QSs that are here, I see you, I recognize you, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Please come on board tomorrow for us to round up this. And Rebecca Fond, we cannot thank you enough for believing in us, because when we proposed this topic to them, they were like, wow, where did you get this from? Who gave you the idea? So I thank my team at the NIQS Foundation for the tireless work we do every day to make sure the NIQS Foundation is in the forefront doing great things. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Uzo, over to you.
Thank you very much, my able DG. We thank you so much for your kind words and words of encouragement. QS Jamila, I believe you have something to say to our distinguished quantity surveyors and participants.
Yes, yes. I always have something to leave my participants with. You've heard it from everyone. The NIQS Foundation, the Audrey Baker Fund, they've worked together tirelessly to put this together. And I want to look at this as, like I explained before now, we have the answers to an examination that is being conducted. And the examination is the future, which is now. We have been given the answer script. What's stopping us from getting 100%? What's stopping us from excelling and doing amazingly well in the exam, which is supposed to be the future? But remind you that the future is already happening. Self-development, like the DG NIQS Foundation has said, is non-negotiable. There's no excuse for you not to excel. We've given you the different innovations that are existing in the quantity profession. We've given you resources that you can use to read up on and better yourself. We've given you case studies of countries that are already using these innovations and it's already working for them. We've given you so much. We've given you, I mean, I'm just like, and all this is free? Wow. I mean, that's a lot. So what are you, the question now is, with all this free information that you have received, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to sit down, study the innovative trends in the quantity profession that we are all already practicing? And how are we going to improve upon ourselves to increase our impact, to increase our value, to increase the value that we give to the clients out there? How are we going to better ourselves and, in translation, improve on the quant surveying profession at large and also improve on the construction industry and the built environment? So like I said, I'll leave you with one word: learning never stops, even when you're old and gray. Let's all key into the trending, innovative trends of the quantity surveying profession, and let's not be left behind, because the future is now, the future is here. Thank you very much once again, everyone, for an amazing session. To our participants, we will not be doing this without you. You, all 100 plus of you, have been very wonderful in keying into this session till the end, and we really appreciate you. We appreciate the Audrey Baker Fund for supporting this theme that was put together by the NIQS Foundation, and partnering with the NIQS Foundation to run with it. To our NIQS Foundation DG, ma'am, you already know that you have my heart, because all you do is all about impact. All you do is all about self-development. All you do is all about making or becoming the better version or the best version of yourself. You do this in how you carry yourself. You do this in everything that you put your mind in. And we can see the amazing work that you're doing with the NIQS Foundation. We cannot thank you enough. To our amazing participants, to our amazing panelists, to our amazing resource persons, we cannot say thank you enough. We are super excited for the new innovations that you've brought to our front. I mean, you already heard from all the participants. They are filled with nothing but appreciative words for you. If you did not come and break this down into simple English terms for us to take home, I would not have known that I can be a sustainable, I will be, or I already am a sustainable specialist, which I am claiming with my full chest right now. I mean, I cannot be talking in Nairas when my mates are already talking in dollars and pounds. So I will definitely be chatting you up, QS Fine, QS CJK, QS Nilea Debowale. I will definitely be in your DMs, because this self-development, I'm carrying it upon myself. I don't know about all you participants on the call, but I have given myself a special assignment to make sure that all that I have learned in this 3-day program put together by the NIQS Foundation and the Audrey Baker Fund will not be a waste. I would make sure that I take in all that is being taught, and I would make sure that I improve myself. Thank you very much to the Board of Trustees of the NIQS Foundation. Thank you, QS Osaritin, for staying with us through. And to my amazing moderators, I see you. You've been amazing, and the good support for trying to anchor the session and making sure that all the participants joining in get the best of the program. So we see you again tomorrow, same time. As you already know, NIQS Foundation is known for promptness. We do not waste time. We go straight to the point. So if you do not want to miss out on all the beautiful juice, all the amazing insights that is going to be shared tomorrow, which is the final day, by the way. And you know that we always save the best for the last. So if you do not want to snooze on tomorrow's session, tune into us, tune into this Zoom link, 9 o'clock on the dot. We will begin tomorrow's session with QS Oyinleye Adebowale, who would come to the podium and do justice to the innovative trends that the quant surveying profession has to offer. Thank you very much. My name is QS Eneamiri Jamila Tudemide. I was your moderator for today. Mr. Uzor, if you have anything to add, and if not.
Really,
yes.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. QS Ifeanyi, our distinguished trainer for today. Do you have any last words to leave participants with, please?
Well, nothing much really. It's just an encouragement for all quantity surveyors to just go on. Just like the DG said, self-development, it is unparalleled. There's nothing to compare with it. You just keep developing. I am developing every day. I am taking courses and developing every day. And so let us all, the little we can, let's just keep developing every day. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished quantity surveyors and professionals in the built environment, my able DG, the Secretary of the Board of the NIQS Foundation, Mr. Chairman, the NIQS President, and all the Board of Trustee members. At this juncture, we have come to the end of day 2 of the Open Innovation, the Quantity Surveying Perspective, proudly funded by the Obibrika Fund UK. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We've come to the end of today. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye for now. Thank you, Mr. Uzo, for being a fantastic moderator. Oh,
thank you.
All in one. Yeah, see you tomorrow, bright and early.
Thank you, QS.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Oh, QS CJ.